What's up, Zay?
How are
As
you doing?
always, Zay is punctual. The
Oh yeah.
most punctual. I
Oh yeah.
might,
When I'm
I
not here, you'll miss me, bro. I promise.
yeah,
You'll
man.
be
I
like,
might,
these motherfuckers are late.
I might have to let you be the host, man. You're gonna host the podcast from now
No,
on.
dude, no. You do a lot better job than me for sure.
Thank you,
How you
brother.
been?
Doing pretty good, man. Can you hear me well? This is my first time doing the headphones.
Yeah, pretty good.
Am, am I talking loud or normal?
No, normal,
Normal.
normal.
Perfect, perfect.
Actually, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I was supposed to start the off season 2 weeks ago, a week or two ago, but I held off because my creatinine, it was still in range, but it was too close. It was too close to the limit. And if I'm about to do an off season and a prep, I want to start with it even lower. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
I mean, I know guys who start their cycles with their levels high, but I'm not trying to be one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the
yeah.
day,
Plus,
uh,
dude, you have the mass already, so it's not like
exactly,
you're a small dude at all. So,
exactly. For me,
yeah,
it's
there's no
more so
rush.
exactly. For me, it's more so peaking properly, getting the body fat off, and then filling out properly, right? More than anything. And then also not losing muscle in the process. Because in the past, I would definitely overtrain. I didn't believe in overtraining. I was like, oh, bullshit. You can't overtrain. You know how people say you can't overtrain, you can only undereat? That's technically true, right? But what do you do if you're in a situation where you have to undereat because you have to lose body fat? So at that point, you can overtrain, right? Because you can't just say, "Oh, I'm not recovering, so let me eat more." You can't eat more because you have to be in a deficit. So, and you're in a situation where you're in a deficit, you can absolutely overtrain, right? Because you can't compensate with the food. So what I would do is I would continue to train the same volume, same weight, and I would put myself in a hole that I couldn't recover from. And I felt like I would lose some muscle, but not necessarily get a lot leaner, right? Because if
Mhm.
you if you're not recovering, you can't build muscle or you can't even maintain muscle. So I think that's a mistake. So I'm learning to just not. The idea of being hardcore is great and all, but the goal is to win. The goal isn't to be, well, I train harder than you and you and you. It's irrelevant. It's how you look on stage. So whatever you can do to be your best, that's what you do, regardless if, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes most people need to go harder, but some people need to hold back. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And
And plus, dude, let me mention something I learned recently. I didn't know that rhabdo existed until
mhm,
my friend Douglas, he had rhabdo. I'm like,
yeah,
what the fuck is rhabdo, man? And he's
yeah,
like, it's a thing, it's a disease or a sickness you get if you train too physically hard. It's
yeah.
literally a symptom of
Hmm.
extreme physical exercise. And I started
Right.
doing some more research, and
That's real.
technically speaking, there is overtraining. It's called rhabdo.
100%. But
Daniel
it's
and
funny.
Daniel and Bailey got it real bad one
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it could be. I
oh,
think. I
what's
think.
up, Joe? Sorry, I
That
didn't
was like
see
an
Hey,
old
that.
video. Yeah. So
yeah,
that happened to me. But okay, before that, I heard it a few times. I heard Daniel and Bailey had it, and I heard it's a thing. But you know how we are. I'm like bullshit. They're just soft. They don't know how to work through the they don't know how to work through the
yeah,
pain until it happens to you, and you're like, holy fuck, I feel like complete shit. And listen, just because you don't go to the hospital doesn't mean you haven't experienced it. Joe probably experienced it. He didn't even know. You remember you said after prep and you felt like complete shit, like worse than prep?
yeah. So I told Paul after the California show,
Mhm.
bro, I went fucking hard. I was so motivated. I want to get my pro card. Like, dude, I went back to lifting heavy and hard, and I was by myself too. Paul wasn't my training partner again yet, and like when I would move in bed, I felt like my fucking shoulder joints, my elbows, like everything just like ached. Like I couldn't explain. Like,
Yeah.
and I still trained, but I did some like back off like training,
Yeah.
like deloading kind of, like higher rep stuff. And
Yeah.
over time, I got better, but I'm pretty sure I had like a mild case of it because I wasn't like
Yeah.
disabled, like I was able to train still.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you would have went, let's say if you would have went to the hospital, right? They probably would have checked your CK levels and be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Put this
Yeah,
guy in ICU, because you were suffering from rhabdo. Most of us will just be like, fuck it, I feel fine and go back to the gym. But it gets so bad to the point that sometimes you can barely get out of bed, and you don't want to get to that point. But what's up, Justin?
Justin,
hey, how you doing, Justin?
Good, man. How are you?
Good to see you, man.
We just here talking about
me and Justin just got done talking about how fat I was. He's like, "Hey Joe, we're gonna pull back the food. You don't look like you breathe."
I saw your video. You couldn't get up from the pullover machine.
Dude, everybody loved that video, man. That's reality.
What about getting out of the leg press?
What was that?
Oh, leg press.
What about getting out of the leg press?
Yeah, man, it's hard. I have to like give everything I can to throw and catch myself and pull myself up.
I usually just roll out of the leg press.
Yeah.
Roll out of it.
Dude, it's been rough. It's hard. It really is.
Yeah, I feel like most people don't really know what it feels like to push the food to that extent. I see people complain about, not growing, and you're like, what do you eat? And they're like, I eat so much food and all of this. And it's like, it's irrelevant how much you think you eat, right? If you're not growing, then you're just not eating enough. So it almost doesn't matter how much you think you eat. You got to get the job done, regardless of how much the food that takes. For some people, for me, I don't need as much food as Joe usually. For me, it might be 5,000 calories. And for somebody else, it might be, or like Justin, it might be 8,000 calories. But you either get it done or you lose. So it's pretty.
I'm glad you're talking about intake because I actually had to message Justin a little earlier than check-in, and I had to pull my Anadrol because I wasn't eating much more. I wasn't eating much more than I was prior to starting.
Yeah,
and I'll be on my first meal gagging. I'm like, what the fuck? Like this, like this hard. Like eyes starting to water. I'm like, dude, like I'm a fat fuck. I may get full, but I can still put down. Like food amounts have never been an issue. I can get it down. But when I start feeling nauseous and gagging, I'm like, that's not right. This isn't the Fat Joe I know, bro. Like I was like,
Fat Joe. I like that one. Fat Joe is a good one. No, but I mean, it sucks because Anadrol, bro, it works so well. I think it's awesome, but once your appetite dies, bro, it's over. You just can't get anything down. You're sitting there. You have to. There's no way. Like I tried. Like I would talk to people back in the day, and I would get all these opinions. Oh, you got to take iron folate or some shit, or you got to take this shit. What's the shit called? It's like a ox bile. It's called ox bile. It's like a digestive enzyme or some shit. And you try all these tricks, and guess what? It don't fucking matter. You can't. It just not gonna help. You just got to
will help you like go to the bathroom and stuff, but it doesn't fix the side effects of Anadrol at all.
Yeah.
Anadrol can be rough, and some people can tolerate it better than others. And I think when the food is low to moderate is when you can handle it the best. And his food is obviously not low right now.
Yeah,
I was able to handle it for about 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes 4 at most in the off season. But I couldn't do the orals for the same reason he's talking about. Like I could eat my last meal at 8 p.m. and wake up at 8 a.m. 12 hours later, and I look at my food and I'm just like, man, I just want to vomit looking at this.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't do it. That's what it got to.
You don't crave anything. You don't even want to have a cheat meal.
The foods that I like didn't even taste good.
It doesn't. It doesn't taste good. And honestly, man, I think in prep is very useful for me, right? Because my calories get low, and it blocks my appetite. So I'm like, I'm satisfied. I'm like, great, this is fucking awesome. I'm not getting hungry. But you push prep long enough, you're gonna get hungry regardless of what the fuck you do.
Once your body fat gets to a certain level, like there is no satiety in that. You're just gonna be like, no matter once your body fat gets to like, in my opinion, a true less than like 8%. It's not a bod pod or a Dexin. Like when you're really 8% or less.
Yeah,
dude, you could eat a fucking buffet. And I saw. Do you know Cameron Cheek?
We had him on last week.
Okay, cool. He made a post like 2 weeks ago or something, and this post resonated so good. I wish I would have came up with the terminology that he did. He said, a starving person will eat. How wasn't he worded this? Actually, give me a second. I'm going to pull it up because he nailed this.
Yeah. Pull up Cameron. But he's a good guy, man. I like Cameron. Super young guy, but he's super motivated, but super humble as well. I like.
Yes, I met him at a seminar. We were kind of doing everything together. It was like 4 or 5 of us. But I met him like 3 or 4 months ago. Really cool kid. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said, when someone's hungry, one will eat until satisfied and content. When someone's starving, one will eat uncontrollably behind or beyond comfort with little to no satisfaction. Said a whole lot of hungry folks out here think they're starving. And that's the case for a lot of people. But I do think that once you get to like that 4 to 8% body fat, I could send you to a buffet. And when you leave the restaurant, you're still going to be thinking about food.
100%.
Even if you are on air, you're still going to be thinking about food.
Yeah. You know what I tried for I think this was the first prep I tried it actually. The Semaglutide, or the Ozempic, right? And in the beginning, I was like, "Is this really helping?" But then, as my food got lower, I'm like, Here's the thing, right? You can't completely block hunger. Let's be real here. If you're on 1,500 calories and you're 280 pounds, you're probably going to be hungry. What I will say is once you start to eat, you get satisfied a lot quicker, right? So like you'll be rabid hungry. Once you start eating, let's say I get done my meal, then I feel full, which if I wasn't on the Ozempic, or the semaglutide, I wouldn't feel full at all. I would just be hungry all day. So it definitely helped. But I also will say it made me a little bit bloated. My stomach wasn't as flat as it was. So there's always going to be pros and cons, but it definitely helped as far as hunger. I have clients ask me about that, and it definitely works. Now, don't get it. It's not this magic drug that all the girls say it is. Like, it's not like this magic, weight loss drug. It just blocks your appetite. If you're motivated enough to eat that junk food, you're still going to fucking eat it. If you're motivated enough to cheat on your diet, you're still going to fucking cheat. So it's not going to solve all your problems, but if you have the discipline and you're trying to not be rabidly hungry, it does have some benefits.
How long does it keep you full for? Because how long does it keep you full for? I mean, when you're on prep, bro, you eat 30 minutes later, 20 minutes later, you're hungry again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So does it keep you full for a longer period?
Yeah. So you're not gonna get hungry as fast, but even if you do get hungry, you won't stay hungry. You know how you can be hungry, eat, and stay hungry? You'll feel after you eat. So it definitely helps for that, but it's also very expensive. So it's like, where do you want to spend the money? You rather focus on spending on a GH, or you rather, so you could always sit there hungry and get past it if you're motivated enough. So if you're willing to spend that money, there's benefits to it. But I don't know, man. I've also seen people get off of it and gain quite a bit of weight. Not like a rebound, not a rebound from the drug itself, but a rebound from the appetite. You know what I'm saying? And after the Cal, I was still on those Ozempic. And I remember going to an Italian restaurant, and they gave me the family style lasagna. And I was like, have you ever seen anybody eat this entire thing? They said no. A lot of guys brag that they're going to eat it.
Oh, what's up? What's the name of that restaurant? Is it Buca di Beppo?
It is, actually. It is.
It says on the menu, the small is serves like 4 to 6, and the large serves like 6 to 8, and they're not kidding.
They're not kidding, So I go there. so
Justin, you've been there?
I've been there, yeah.
You've been there. No, so I go there right after the Cal on Ozempic still, right? And it stays in your system like 2-3 weeks. So I'm like, you ever seen anybody finish this? She was like, a lot of guys come here and brag that they eat so much and they're going to finish it, but they never finish it. I said, I'll do you better. I'll finish this, and I'll finish this entire pizza by myself. She said, no way. I said, okay, stay tuned. I'll finish both of them shits on Ozempic, right? So that proves the point that if you're motivated enough to eat that bullshit, you're gonna fucking eat it. You'll find a way. So I'm sitting there, and do you feel full? Yeah, but no problem. But let's be honest. How many times have you felt full after a show and still fucking stuffed your?
Full is an illusion, dog. like fear.
How bad? But how bad do you want that lasagna, bro? How bad do you want it? Listen,
Damn, you were
bodybuilders.
really hypo, bro.
Exactly. Listen, think about it. How bodybuilders are some of the most motivated people on this planet. If you can motivate yourself to starve for months on end, you can motivate yourself to eat fucking junk food as well. It's relative. It's motivation. So I did that, and I'm like, wow, the Ozempic worked great on chicken breast, but maybe it doesn't work that great on lasagna. When the food actually, when the food actually tastes good, it's gonna be harder. But I will say, knowing myself, if I wasn't on Ozempic, I probably would have been worse off. I don't know what I would have ate that day. I would have probably ate them out of business. So
It's kind of crazy to hear
worked.
this because my friend told me it causes nausea. When you take it, so some people can't eat because they're nauseated.
They feel nauseous.
That's pretty much what happened to me.
Oh, you tried it? Oh,
no. But like with the other shit, like you put nausea in my system, that's it. Like I'm done.
It's over. What I will say, the best way to bypass that is start really low, go up in really small increments. If you just start with 1 milligram right out the bat, you'll just be nauseous all day. You know what I'm saying? I've never heard anybody who actually vomited, but you will feel nauseous. I didn't feel nauseous because I'm a big guy, and I started with like I think I started with 0.5 before I went up to a milligram. So you have to taper it up if you don't want to get nauseous. But I got to be honest. I mean, the nausea does help. I mean, if you're nauseous, you're not going to want to eat too much. So I'm not going to. Maybe you might need to feel nauseous for some people. Have any of you guys tried it?
Semaglutide? I don't know if people have, but I mean, I can't imagine me that on prep because my food's kind of high. So I mean, if I couldn't eat that shit, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, you're kind of assed out. I think
tried it.
Most guys, if you just take orals, you probably won't be that motivated to eat anyways. And it depends how low your calories get. How low have anybody been under 15,000 calories on this podcast?
1,500.
1,500?
I'll have me below 15,000, baby.
1,500, my bad.
Maybe thinking about his fucking his
lasagna.
Yeah, that cheat day.
That's funny. Yeah. No, Zayd. I mean, I would assume Zayd had to because Zayd dropped quite a bit of weight there.
Oh man, I think definitely under 1,200 or maybe somewhere around there. It was just fish, egg whites, and green beans. That's it.
Wow. I didn't even do the green beans. I just did the fish.
I mean, green beans something to eat.
Vegetable.
Yeah, something to eat.
Man, yeah. I saw Zayd at those check-ins. I didn't know if Zayd was gonna make it to the stage. I was like, man, if you make it to the stage, you're gonna win. But good luck making it to the damn stage. He was dragging his feet, bro. His face looked like I don't know what the face. He looked like he was in a different world, bro. He was talking like in whispers. He's like, "Yeah, man." I'm like, "Fuck." This guy.
I remember, dude. It felt like utterly like death. To be honest, yeah.
Think about it. Like, think about how crazy you have to be to beat somebody like that, right? Like, if somebody's that motivated to go through that kind of shit, even if he doesn't win this year, it's only a matter of time. Anybody who's willing to suffer to that point, they're probably gonna win, bro. I gotta be honest.
One day.
When Justin came to visit us in California, he lived off tuna, green beans, and avocado. That's all he ate. And I was like, "You talking about suffering? This man suffers 24/7."
That's wild.
Hey, when you left, I told Joe, I go, "Fuck, I didn't even eat it, but I'm sick of the smell of tuna."
What's the lowest? Joe probably gets pretty low in calories though.
I think the lowest I got with Justin ever was like 2,200, maybe.
Somewhere between 1,800 and 2,000.
Yeah, something like that. Low. Yeah, but the cardio was really high at one point, So
yeah, I think that's probably better. Like in hindsight, I think a little bit more calories and then more cardio would do you better because once you get that low, the cardio isn't really acceptable because it's so lackluster because you're so tired that you can't really push that hard. So you're probably better off eating the 2000 and then use that energy to do more cardio. To be
You
honest
know
with
what?
you.
One thing I do during prep, and I told Paul this, like, so I'll pick, like at my best feeling, I'll pick a speed that I can carry on no matter how shitty I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
oh yeah,
for example, like stairs, I think it was like level 4 this year because I was heavier, and I was able to carry that level 4 at my most weak feeling. So, like
yeah.
it never got easier. Like as far as like, even though how do I put it? As hard as it got physically, I never went easier. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I kept it the same speed the whole way through.
Yeah, that's important to have that. I remember there was one prep. Justin wanted me to keep my heart rate, I think, somewhere between 140 and 150, or maybe 130 to 140.
I think 130 to 140, unless we were doing interval training.
No, it was steady state. So yeah, I think it was 130 to 140, and I was keeping that up. But what I didn't realize is, as I lost weight, the intensity had to go up because I'm smaller. So it kept going up to at one point, maybe like 3-4 weeks out. I couldn't get it there. I'm like, I would have to sprint or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't get my heart rate up, But at that point, when I talked to Justin, he's like, yeah, eventually you're gonna hit a point where the heart rate just is not gonna budge because, I don't know.
You're too fit.
Exactly. You're fit and you're lighter.
Body weight's less and your cardiovascular endurance is up.
Yeah.
Not to mention, the drugs that we use increases your red blood cells, so your endurance goes up with it.
Exactly. So Justin remembers when I had the pneumonia in 2019. So after I was recovering, they wanted to make sure my ejection fraction was back up. So they had me do I think is it the nuclear stress test that you have to go on the treadmill?
That's just a stress test.
It's just a stress test, right?
The nuclear thing is, I actually had to do one time. It's been a little while ago, but it's to check for blood clots.
Oh no, not that one.
Yeah, they give you this. You inhale something, and when you inhale it, they're doing like a CT scan at the same time. I did not want to do it, but I had to.
To be honest, all that shit is depressing. I gotta be honest. When you're in the hospital and they doing all this shit, but they put some dye in me, and they had me on the treadmill, and I think they wanted to get my heart rate to like 160 or something, and I'm like, holy fuck. And I had already, I lost some weight at that time because I had taken a break. I hadn't ran a cycle in like 10 months or something like that. So I'm like, okay, let's go for it, bro. They had me like basically sprinting on an incline to get up there. I thought I was gonna pass out. I couldn't catch my breath, because I hadn't done like really intense training for a while because they wanted to make sure my ejection fraction was back, like over 50%, and it was, but they fucking had to kill me to get me up there.
I did it once. Maybe like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I'm sitting about 280, right? So the way, like you said, the way it goes is they started a brisk walk and they eventually go up little by little by little by little. 280 pounds, man. And like I'm at 140, I guess. And they want me to start running. So I'm jogging, you know what I mean? I'm out of breath. I'm like, dude, I'm 280 fucking pounds. You want me to run? Like, what's wrong with you guys? I got to like 156 and they cut me out. And I think you're supposed to get to like 170. That's hard as fuck.
But they got to keep in mind people's size because they didn't want to stop the treadmill. I was about to jump off that motherfucker.
Oh, so was I. It was fucking horrible. It was fucking horrible. I got off to the side, stepped off to the side, and no, you can't do it. You got to keep going. I'm like,
yeah, you're like, bro,
I can't even fucking breathe. You know what I
mean? But Joe, imagine how you feel, Joe. Imagine somebody had you on a treadmill, bro. Don't get off. You got to stay on it, and you're fucking running.
I just fall, bro. I'll just break their fucking wall.
Bro, like you get anxious because I thought I get anxiety. I'm like, I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna pass out. I can't catch my breath, bro. They don't understand how this feels, But
dude, so I weighed 290 this morning, and yesterday I went out for my anniversary. It was my anniversary dinner, and we're walking around Santa Monica Pier. And I'm not saying anything to my girl, but I'm huffing and puffing, dude. I'm walking like this is the most I've walked in a while. My stomach hurts. It's all distended and full. I haven't even eaten dinner yet. And I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, don't show her any weakness, Joe. When we get to the top of this, like, fucking, like, hill over this bridge, and we're at the light, and I look over, I'm like, hey, are you having a hard time breathing? She's like, okay, I thought it was just me. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, you're a fat fuck, too. Dude, I was hurting, man. I was hurting. I was like, fuck, dude. But I can't run. That's not going to happen.
That shit is torture. I feel like girls got so much energy, man. Like you go to Disneyland or something. Oh yeah,
my girl's a fat fuck too, bro.
She lives. No, yo, you go to like Universal Studios, Disneyland, bro.
Yo, keep it in. She needs to know.
Keep it in. You guys know. He used to be my training partner. Eric. He does the pranks.
Eric
Konevsky, yeah. So he when he used to compete, right? And in one off season, he pushed it to like 320. And this guy was next. Like one thing he didn't have the best genetics, but he's highly motivated to do anything he puts his head to, he'll do it. And he would get so out of breath. We would literally like walk. It was one expo we went to in LA, and every block he would have to take a break, literally. So, but
I think that's from the smoking, bro. He smokes a lot.
He does smoke too. That shit don't help. But
well,
I mean, yeah.
Lie. At my biggest, like I think I tipped 300 at one point, like 301, 302.
Holy shit.
And this was, I think, I was in Vegas. I was actually at the Olympia Expo. I don't remember what year it was. Obviously, I wasn't competing, but trying to walk around, like, you know, like some of those hotels, like to go from like the venue to the room, it's like a fucking mile walk because it's a casino, a restaurant, a bar, everything in one. There were times I'd like, and so I'm like, all right, well, let's finish this. Let's do this. It was like a full on. I mean, I felt like I was in a boxing match. I'm on like the fucking 10th round.
You were losing.
Walking from the fucking kitchen to my room.
Yeah. That shit's
the long walk.
You know what I think sometimes when I'm like peak off season, I'm like, it would be a shame if somebody at the gym like started a fight with me, because if I had to fight them, bro, I'm gonna be gassed in like a minute.
You better get them that first 30 seconds.
Exactly. You know what I'm doing? I'm like, yo, let's go outside. And then when I go outside, I'm gonna try to stall it so nobody sees the fight.
That's the best way.
I'm gonna go back to my car and get like a knife or some shit. But like, hey, bro, just stay back. You don't want no problems, bro. Some shit. You're
like, I'm lost and I'm useless.
No, honestly.
Hey, Zay, you're hearing these stories. Are you looking forward to this?
Honestly, bro, yes, I am. Because I want a story of my own, you know.
Yeah, facts.
So, I'm actually really excited because you mentioned Anadrol. I never tried that too, you know,
bro.
There's a lot of things I never tried. So
imagine
coming.
Oh,
imagine Zayd. I'm trying to imagine Zayd with no cap. Like no barrier, not like no cap, like the slang, like no weight cap. But imagine his structure and his legs like blown up to like 290.
Just imagine Zay with a little gut.
You gotta keep it tight.
Hey man, when Brad Rose stops coaching, you got Justin, bro. You got Justin here.
Hell Justin, yeah, bro. It would be an honor. It would be an honor, man. Huh?
Are you working with Brad right now?
Yeah, still, yeah.
I haven't seen Brad in a couple of years. I saw it. So he's fully retired, right?
Oh, fully.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And what was he doing? I don't know if he ever publicly disclosed, and if he didn't, then I don't need to ask. I just want to see if he did. He was going on like some type of retreat or something, right?
Yeah, he's been open with like ayahuasca, right? Ayahuasca and DMT and all types of stuff like that. Yeah. And if you talk to him, he's like a new person. He's like very spiritual and he's super calm. He does yoga and stuff. He's really like on a whole different kind of
very zen.
Yeah. Kind of like Dorian. kind of like Dorian. That's more than likely. That's probably what I would do. I would probably switch to like MMA or something, and then after that, I'm gonna just become like a.
But dude, I do know that he switched his ways of prepping people. Because I see cycles he tells me to do and stuff like that, and I know what other competitors are taking. So I know after retirement he slowed down on that shit.
For sure.
And I know he course. Yeah. So,
did he get all spiritual on you when you were starving? Like, it's all right, bro. Just close your eyes, look at the sun. Let the sun be your salvation.
The sky is blue, the grass is green. The sky is blue, the grass is green.
Just close it, dog. Soak it
in. Not me, definitely. Number one, I don't complain. Number two, I don't think he's the guy for that because he doesn't have time. He'll probably tell you, suck it up and fucking suffer.
Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah,
Brad used to train hard, bro. When I started going to Gold's
Vegas,
he was training like kind of like Branch Warren. I don't think he doesn't get the credit for how hard he trained because I don't think he filmed any videos, right? Not really.
I mean, towards the very end, he did, but upcoming, not too much. He was fucking strong, man. He used to squat 6 and a quarter for 10 reps.
Yeah, and he could still like dunk the basketball and shit even when he was big.
At 275.
Yeah, which is insane. But so we got Justin on today. We haven't had Justin on in a while. I wanted to get Justin's opinions on a few things. Let me share the screen. But let me first make sure it's on the right shit. But I'm assuming Justin, you've been keeping up with all the shit going on with Nextzilla in the tour, the European tour.
Yeah, I've seen all the shows. The only one I haven't really kept up with much is the recent one from last night, the Japan Pro.
Oh yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to keep up with that one. No offense, but
I mean, I was from the looks of it, Theo took that show.
Yeah, it wasn't super deep. I think a lot of people could have probably showed up and nabbed them a little Olympia.
Well, a lot of guys are already qualified as well, so
really,
I'm not really sure why Samson. I mean, maybe it was a payday for him. I don't know why Samson did a couple of shows considering he was already qualified, but again, if it's right in his back door and it's an easy payday, I mean,
I think
I've seen something Milos had posted a couple weeks ago, and Samson's pretty much said something like, "I'm already in shape, so why not do it for the fans?" So he did it for the fans, probably the payday too.
I mean, another thing that I think is good for them is
exactly.
I think those two together make a good team, but I also think they need to work a few kinks out. Like when Samson was in Romania, I hate to say this, a lot of people probably go against me on it. He did not walk with that title easy. Like, he was off the mark. He was like, if they would have given it to the Iranian guy, I wouldn't have said a word about that. I would have been okay.
Yeah.
He was a little off. Now, the following weekend, he won that other show. What was the next one that he won?
Was it Prague?
Prague, yeah. No, I thought he looked pretty damn good there. I thought that was one of his better looks. I think doing those extra shows, sure, good for the fans because that's ultimately building your fan base is going to build you him as Samson. But I think it gives them time to trial and error some of their peaking methods.
That was exactly what I was going to get at. I think
that's what I would assume because they know if he shows up at 80%, he's probably still going to win those shows.
Exactly. I think that's why Milos likes to do these tours because he can try different peaks with guys that he already knows are gonna win even if they're off, right? So they bought in a little drier package at Prague. I think they weren't as sharp, they weren't as good at Romania, but at Prague, I feel like they tightened up quite a bit.
I feel like his best showings this year was the Arnold and probably Prague. Like, I thought he was off the mark at the Olympia. I mean, I don't disagree with the placing. I just don't think he was on point. Yeah. I thought Prague, he looked like he was a little bit more carved out, a little bit more detailed. Yeah, I mean, he still needs a little bit more, as you can tell. I mean, he's still not 100%.
So okay,
He's just so big and so structurally blessed that he still stands out over the other guys. But if he wants to climb from third to first, he's going to have to get as hard as Derek in order to beat Derek.
do you agree with Crizzo beating Nexzilla?
I'm not 100% sure on that one. I mean, there were poses like that I thought Crizzo's had him, but this guy here, you know, people act like this is not his first bodybuilding show. A lot of people think it's his first bodybuilding show. It's his first IFB or NPC IFBB show. Like he's an elite pro already. So for the people out there that think this is his first competition ever, it's not his first competition.
That would be crazy.
But you know, I saw people got mad that he beat Nathan, but I think he beat Nathan fair and square. I probably would have put this guy in second place. I think I would have put him over Crizzo's, to be honest. I think next year at the Olympia, he's going to be in the top 7.
Yeah, in front of Crizzo.
Yeah. He's got to get a little bit, you know, he's got to get his quads a little bit harder. Like they're vascular there. He's carved up clearly, but I don't know if it's because he's still a rookie. Maybe he's not posing them correctly. Because he's not really that far off on a conditioning standpoint. He just needs to get a little bit more detail in his quads. Kind of like the way Rami, when Rami first hit the scene. You know, he had the size, not a lot of detail in them. So if he can sharpen up that detail, get a little bit tighter, a little bit crisper overall, not a lot, and he doesn't need a ton, but, you know, bringing his upper body up because he's still – I mean, the guy only started bodybuilding in like 2019, right? Like there was photos of him as like he kind of looked like almost like a guy that just goes to the gym, picks up a few dumbbells here and there. Like he didn't look like a serious competitor or anything. He looked like just he was naturally gifted. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he explodes when he actually puts his mind and effort into it. So I think the guy is going to be a threat. Like people say he's unaesthetic. There is poses that he does that does make him look bad. But if he can avoid those poses, and again, posing is about showing your strength and hiding your weaknesses. And he hasn't quite figured out how to hide his weaknesses yet. Because there's certain ways he holds his body that doesn't really look right. But then there's other ways that he fucking just stomps on everyone. Yeah. So I think he's such a rookie. I think he just needs to work out some kinks. But I think the guy does have a bright future. And I could see him, I don't see him being in the top 5 in 2024. But in 2025, if he plays his hand right, I could see him being in the top 5, regardless of who's there. Just because this guy, he reminds me of like someone who has like a myostatin deficiency. Like he has like just slabs of meat everywhere.
For sure, but it's almost ridiculous. You see,
he's very full, very round. His muscle insertions are damn near perfect. I mean, it sucks that he has the neck because I think it does take away from certain aesthetics, but even with the neck, I mean, he's still better than 95% of the IFBB.
I thought he beat Nathan handedly, and I thought he beat Chris.
Yeah.
This
version of Nathan is not the prime version. I think it was 2017.
For sure.
Was it 17 or 18 is when Nathan placed like 7th at the Olympia? That was the best Nathan we've ever seen.
Okay, you see, everybody's saying he's smaller, right? And then he says that, well, I weigh more. I think they're both true. I think he does weigh more, but I think he appears, he's not as round and full. It's like Dexter. If you look at Dexter back in the early 2000s, he was a lot lighter than he was later in his career, but he looked bigger back then because his muscles were so round and billowy. Same with Phil.
At the time, I don't think Nathan was as polished as we've seen him either.
Yeah.
Like if you go back and look at like if you want to Google this, if you look at like Nathan Diasha 2017, and look at a back double bicep from that, it's a lot harder, a lot more dense, a lot more crisp. You know, just from top to bottom, not just glutes and hamstrings, but just top to bottom, head to toe. He was more polished, so he may be heavier. But keep in mind weight, like. Let's say you have a 220 pound guy on stage and he's super flat and depleted. He's probably going to be extra detailed, right? Well, now take that same 220 pound guy, carve him to the max. Maybe he's 232, 234. Maybe he looks better, maybe he doesn't look better. But it doesn't mean he gained 14 pounds of muscle. He carved up with glycogen. So maybe Nathan is heavier in the sense that he might be fuller, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's got more muscle. I don't think the guy is. He may be down a little bit in size. I don't think he's down a ton in size. I think the biggest thing that people are overlooking here is if Nathan shows up 100% polished, inside out, like try 17. I think 17 is where his really money shots was.
His arms were better.
But yeah, you're right. He's not as detailed in the quads and midsection, but he's round as a motherfucking house. Look, he's fucking billowing, but he's not super detailed everywhere like he is now. But honestly, I think this looks more aesthetic. I think it looks better. I got to be honest with you. I think it looks slightly better. This is probably old, but he's I don't know when this for. He looks peeled though. New York, he was a little bit off New York, but let me try 2017.
Yeah, look at 17. I'm trying to Google it as well. All I'm seeing is front poses. But yeah, like for example,
holy shit, that looks.
I know you guys understand. Yeah, try to find that pose where he's doing the back double bicep. Like if you scroll down, you can see it. You can very easily see that he had more conditioning back then than what he brings right now. Yeah. And I think that's where people are getting miscued at, and they're just not seeing it.
Yeah.
I think with Nathan, though, I know he's had a lot of injuries. I think he tore both biceps. If I was Nathan, what I would do, I would take the full year off. I wouldn't fuck with any other shows. Maybe one that's like 6 weeks out from the Olympia. But he also needs to get his visas and stuff approved, because here's what I think might happen to the guy. This has been 2 or 3 years that he's qualified for the Olympia and he's not been here. Don't think for a second that Jim and Tyler is not paying attention to that. They don't like it when you qualify for the Olympia and not do it. I can speak from firsthand on that. I'll tell you about that in a second. But they don't like that so much because that's their moneymaker. They need you there so they can make money. So I think him not doing it, I don't think he didn't do it because he didn't want to do it. He didn't do it because he couldn't get in the country with legal issues. If I were him, I'd get a good lawyer and I would actually publicly say, I've got my visa approved. I'm coming to Vegas in 2024. All I got to do is win a show. And I would post the documents. That way the IFBB can see it. They know he's serious, because this is 3 years he's not done the Olympia. And I think 2020 was probably just a fluke because of fucking COVID and bullshit. But the fact that he didn't do it 21 or 22 when he could have, just due to those visa issues, they're going to think, say you got two guys on stage that look very close. It's a close tie between first and second. And they're going to say, well, Nathan's not doing the Olympia anyway. Fuck him. Give him second. We don't need this guy. He's not going to take to the Super Bowl for us. So I think that's just it would be an easy way for him to get screwed if he, again, get the visa, get it approved, publicize it. That's what I would do if I was him.
I was talking about that. I forget which podcast. We was talking about you, and I was like, I had you winning that Arnold in 2016
in Australia.
2015. I had you beating Branch for sure. I had you beating Dexter as well, personally. But
I think in 2015 in Columbus, I think my physique, and again, this is where a lot of guys, I want to state this just in case somebody decides to take a little screenshot of this video and decide to send it over. We'll tell you about Reagan Grimes here in a second on this. We'll get to that. Talk about it. In case one of his fans want to be a fucking dick about this, I want to be clear that, like, when I talk about placing and stuff, I hate to talk about my personal placings, because if somebody beat me and I didn't agree with it, that person takes it offensive. Like, almost like I'm taking a poke at them. I'm not taking a poke at somebody else. Like, if you beat me, doesn't mean that you purposely fucked me. It's not like you paid a judge or you paid Jim or you did this. Maybe it's something I did that got my wrist slapped. I don't know. So I wouldn't want, like, I like Branch. I like Trish. I respect both of them. But I personally think I beat Branch at both of those shows fair and square. Now, in Columbus, I was a little off my mark. I did that last week, a little different than what I had previously done. And I'll say I just don't think I brought the package that I was hoping to bring. I think I should have taken second place behind Dexter. The following weekend was Australia. And I don't think Dexter would agree with this. And that's okay. And if he sees it, this is not no personal poke towards Dexter at all, because Dexter is the most decorated and one of the best bodybuilders, arguably the best bodybuilder ever do it. I mean, he doesn't have as many Olympia wins, but he has the most wins, and he had the longest career and probably made the most money. So Dexter's arguably top 3 that ever fucking do it. But if you're off, anybody can lose if you're off. And I do remember Dexter showed up. They brought a shuttle from, I think the shuttle was at like 2 p.m. and it took the athletes from the hotel over to the venue. I go downstairs at like 1:30 and Dexter's coming in the front door with the suitcases. And I was like, oh, did you stay in a different hotel? And he kind of was very short with me for a good reason. Because he said, no, man. He's like, I can't really talk. He goes, I just got here. I was like, oh, you mean you just got to the hotel? He goes, no, I just got to Australia. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, your flight just landed? He goes, yeah, I got to get ready. He's like, I'll talk to you later. You know, he wasn't mean or anything about that. You know, he had shit to do. He had a competition to do. And the more I thought about it, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm on. I knew I was on at that show. I loved how I looked at the 2015 Australia. And I'm thinking, I'm on. Dexter just pulled an 18-hour flight, getting straight off the airplane, getting up to his room, shaving real quick, throwing a base coat of tan on and getting on stage. I'm going to fucking beat him. Like, I know I'm going to beat him. And he was just, I would say Dexter was like between 90 and 95%. I thought I edged him out. That was my thoughts. And a lot of people in the crowd, a lot of people in the audience, a lot of the other bodybuilders thought the same thing as well. And if I would have lost that show to Dexter, I mean, and I did, that ain't nothing to be ashamed of, you know, to lose to someone like him. Again, I thought I kind of edged him at that show, but it didn't work that way.
Before we continue, I just want to say, me, Zay, Joe, and Paul, especially Joe, we love Steve. We love Jermanian. We love the IBB Pro League.
Yeah, this is not like hate talk.
Especially Joe. Especially Joe. He loves them the most.
Yeah, that's not hate talk at all.
Nah. I'm
Oh, this is going on from last podcast.
What bit? Huh?
I want to get back to something real quick here. You know, I was saying, like, if we criticize someone, it's not personal. You know, like when you get on stage, millions of people see your pictures every day. Like when people give their opinion or feedback, people get very offensive. And I'll admit, there was a point in my life that I got a little defensive about that kind of stuff as well. But at the end of the day, unless I come on here and I say, XYZ person, you're a piece of shit and I want to fight you. Now you can take that personal. But if I say, no, his conditioning was a little off, he needs to work on this, he needs to work on that, that's no reason to get personal about stuff.
I told Paul how I handle haters. So I get comments like random sometimes, like, oh, I'm a steroid abusing junkie kind of guy. And so I go to their account, I'll block them, I report him as a bully. And then I delete the comment. Like, take that, bitch.
Like on a podcast, like we will crack jokes and stuff like that, but we just busting balls, right? And we'll get DMs from time to time, and sometimes people, they're not super happy. Sometimes there's just a miscommunication because, like you said, a lot of times some people didn't even watch the podcast, right? They probably heard. Some of them don't even get clips. Literally, somebody will probably ask them a question in the Q&A. How do you feel about this person saying this, right? So I definitely got a few DMs of people saying things that I honestly don't believe I said some of the things, but maybe somebody else on the podcast said it. So they'll kind of bundle
as well.
Yeah, they'll misinterpret. So maybe you'll say like, hey, this person left his coach because he wanted to try something new. And somebody be like, yo, this person said this guy left you because you were a shitty coach. And it's like, bro, like that's not actually what.
Well, here's a good one. We were just talking about Nexzilla earlier, which I don't remember. What is his actual name? Do you guys know how to pronounce it?
Rubio.
Okay, so remember his interview. I think the Olympia Instagram even posted that basically, I don't remember the exact words, but they definitely misquoted what the guy said. Mm-hmm. More or less, I think AJ had interviewed him and asked him how he felt about going up against Krizzos and Sampson. And the quote basically said he's just going to blow their doors off. I don't remember the
Yeah.
exact quote, but that's not what he's actually said. He very humbly said he was happy to go against them, more or less. Like, he didn't say, I'm going to go in there and make them look bad. I'm going to smoke them. He didn't say any of that. Like, he was just very humble and saying, yeah, I'm going to stand toe to toe with them. And I think that's confidence, not arrogance. But the way that they misquoted him made it look like he's very arrogant. And I could see how, like, if I were Samson or Chrysos and I just saw that quote, I'd be like, really? You think you're just going to walk in here and beat the top 3 in the world just like that? Like, again, it was a misquote and it was just a miscommunication. Now, obviously, the way people say things, like Reagan, I'd say he gets so many DMs every single day. He doesn't even read half of them. Probably just deletes them or just leaves them on read. Someone that he personally knows, so he actually read the DM, probably said, hey, check out timestamp XYZ. Yeah. Justin threw you under the bus and Justin shit talking you. He probably didn't even watch the damn thing and then just got butthurt on it. And that's the thing with a lot of people. It's like when people send me stuff, I don't have time to watch it all. I don't, obviously, if I'm going to make an accusation or be a smartass to someone, I want to at least do it in the right way. Like, I'm going to watch it before saying something.
Yeah. No, for sure. Before we move on, I actually wanted, because we didn't have you on the Olympia. I want to have you on the Olympia episode, but we didn't have you. What did you think about the results, actually? I don't think I've asked you that. As far as, let's say, the top 3 or top 5.
I would agree with it, to be honest with you. A lot of people didn't like that. I'm going to go against, and this is just, again, me being a judge in my own eyes here. I know how Tyler's recap, he said something about Hottie's quad, one being bigger than the other one. I couldn't see it. I could not see that. Like, I just didn't see it. But I think that Derek beat him fair and square. And the reason I say that is Hottie a little bit harder? Yes, from the front only. From the back, Derek beats him from the rear. Now, that being said, if you look at Hottie's previous photos and his previous competitions, we have seen Hottie much harder. If Hottie would have brought the same conditioning that he had in the previous years, I think he would have walked away with his title. Just because his conditioning would have been so nuts that they would have had to have awarded that over Derek's structure. Mm-hmm. So I just feel that because Hottie doesn't have the most pleasing structure, and he left the door open because his conditioning was not as hard as we had seen him before. Sure, his chest was striated. Yeah, he was harder in the front. But again, we've seen him better in the rear. And I think Hottie slammed the door last year on the back shots. This year, he left that door open. And I think Derek walked right through it because of that. Derek was able to add more size. Hottie really didn't seem to be bigger, which not that he needed to get bigger. I think he just needed to replicate what he did. And this is my opinion. I think he lost the show because his conditioning was just a tiny bit off. I don't think Derek, he did improve a lot, but I don't think he improved enough to beat Hottie had Hottie have brought the conditioning that he had. That's my thoughts. Now, Samson in the mix, I think Samson was not his absolute best at this show. Again, I thought the Arnold was his better showing. And I even think that Prague might have been a little bit better than the Olympia as well. But I had him in a solid 3rd place. Why am I drawing a blank here? Who got 4th? Brandon.
Oh, Brandon, yeah.
Now, this may be controversial, and this is also one of those things. I love Brandon as a person. I think he's a family man. I think he's an absolute amazing human being. But I don't agree with him in 4th. Like, I just think that as Brandon's gotten older, his conditioning – Brandon's never been known for conditioning. And I think his conditioning has slipped a little bit each year after he won the Olympia. And I don't think it's because he's not hungry. I don't think it's because he's not working. Brandon's let's see how old Brandon is. Brandon's probably –
I think he's 42.
Maybe the age is just finally starting. I thought he was a little older than that. 41. Shit, I thought he was older than that. But Brandon, keep in mind, Brandon's got miles on him because Brandon's been competing. I think he won the collegiate nationals in like 2003 or 4. So, I mean, he's got 20 years of competition under his belt. I mean, I just think he was not at his best, and I didn't see it. Now, I'm drawing a blank on who was 5th.
Andrew.
It's been like who?
Andrew Jack.
Okay, Andrew. I probably would have put Andrew over Brandon. Now, that being said, with Andrew, I think they missed their mark too. When he won the Texas Pro, I was calling this guy like top 3, potentially the dark horse to win. But somebody finally made a crop on those photos side by side because I said it, but nobody wanted to agree with me that he was much better in Texas than he was at the Olympia. Look at the quads. Look at the feathering in his legs. Like, if you pull that up, like, look, if you look at the feathering in his quads from the Texas Pro versus the Olympia, he didn't have it at the Olympia.
No.
Now, I do think a lot of this shit was just like Sean Ray said. I don't agree with Sean too often, but I'm going to here. I don't agree with Palumbo too often, but I'm going to here as well. They need to change this, and it's not going to affect anyone financially. I don't know why they don't do it. I think the Olympia needs to be in the morning, not the evening. Like, if you think about this from this bodybuilding is a business. It is what it is. The same people that pay the tickets are going to be, if they pay those tickets for the nighttime, they're going to pay those tickets in the morning. They're not going to, the same people still going to be there. Like, the true fans are going to be at the Olympia. So it's like Sean was saying, these guys get up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to do their cardio, they're doing posing, you know, they're training by 2 or 3 probably, and they're probably in bed by 8 o'clock at night. You put them on stage at 11, they're not going to look their best. Very, very few people get better at nighttime versus the morning. They get a little fuller throughout the day, but they don't get drier.
Well, one thing they could do, like,
you know how they have the men go on last. What if they go on first, but don't give the awards? You know how, you could just save the awards for last. So therefore you can still wrap it up with the Mr. Olympia being awarded. But have them pose. Huh?
When they do the prejudge on Friday night,
yeah.
I think that any regional level or pro qualifier or any other pro show for that matter, the prejudge is usually early in the morning or at least early to mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
Like, I've never done a prejudging outside the Olympia that was past 3 p.m. I think that's a little bit late in the day. And I think if they moved in the morning, again, you're going to sell the same amount of tickets. It's not like you're going to sell less tickets because you have a morning show. And plus, I look at it this way. From a fan's perspective, nobody goes to Vegas just to go to the Olympia Expo, right? You're going to go have some other fun while you're in Vegas, whether it's gambling, whether it's restaurants, or other party scenes that you want to have fun in. So let them go to the bodybuilding show in the morning. They're still going to spend the money on the NPC and the IFBB, and they get to do this. I think it would create a much more experience for the fans and the spectators. Like, I would love that. Like, hell, I would go out to Vegas next year, watch a morning show, catch an evening show with something that's not bodybuilding related. Everybody gets paid. Everybody has fun, but the athletes look better. And I'll look at it this way. The better the athletes look, the less negativity around the sport, right? Because how many times do you see people saying, oh, it's not what it used to be. These guys are not bringing it anymore. Let them show up and really bring it, bring some life back into bodybuilding. Because we saw, like, I don't think Derek was 100% on stage either. Like, I saw some pictures leading up to that. And I think he was probably better a day out and 2 days out than he was on stage. But again, everybody was slightly off the mark at prejudge because you had it at like 11 o'clock at night. I just think moving that up. Like, they did that when I competed too. And I think my prejudge was around 10 p.m. And I can 100% say I did not look as good at 10 p.m. as I did at 10 a.m. And I think that's when you have guys like, just a second. Like, when you have guys like, say, Phil, because I was going against Phil. Phil knew, man, because that was like his 6th Olympia. He knew how it was going to work. So when you've done the show 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, you're prepared for that kind of stuff. And I'd say Phil probably worked his sleep schedule around that so he would look good because Phil looked fucking nuts backstage. Phil and Sean were definitely – Phil, Sean, and Dexter was definitely the 3 most on guys at the Olympia when I was there. I was very unprepared for that because it said in the itinerary that prejudge would start at 6 p.m. So I'm preparing for 6 p.m., not 10 or 11 p.m. At that point, you're lucky to even get me to say hello to someone because I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, getting me to pose at 10 p.m. at night, Like, if it's 10 p.m. at night and I'm at my house, I ain't posing for you. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
Coach, no coach, money on the line, doesn't matter. I ain't posing 10 p.m. at night. So they did that whenever I competed, and I personally think that they need to do finals same way. If you're going to judge finals live, which they always do, you need to have it, I don't know, man, maybe put it at like 5 p.m. or something. Again, you're going to sell all those tickets. It's not a money thing that's going to hold anyone back. Plus, the athletes get to have a better experience too, because they can go out after the show. Like, I remember when I came off stage, my favorite part of the Mr. Olympia competition was the gala dinner, or the gala dinner, however you pronounce that. It's basically a big buffet that the athletes get to go to, and you get a ticket for yourself and a ticket for your significant other, whoever you want to give it to. And it's just a giant buffet it's like a smorgasbord of food. And it was amazing food, but I think you had an hour. Yeah, I think I finished prejudge at like 10, or sorry, finals like 11 p.m. and the dinner closed at like 12. You don't want to go to dinner. Like, it's also formal. Like, you have to be dressed up. You're not allowed to walk in a tank top or a gym shirt or shorts. You got to be like most of the guys wear a suit and tie. Well, that's fine if your prejudge was at 7 o'clock. You can shower, get dressed up. Girls can put their makeup on, stuff like that. But like, I got out at 11 o'clock. I have to go from the venue to my room, shower, put on nice formal clothes, and get back to the dinner by midnight. That's cutting it really, really close. Kind of wasn't fair for us as the athletes. The men's open, that is. Yeah. Like, I saw the other classes in there, like, I ain't going to name names, but I remember everyone from that event. It was a very memorable event for me. And everybody's looking nice and sharp, and I'm just sitting here looking like hell because I had to rush myself around, and I felt like some anxiety because I didn't have time to do everything.
Yeah. I think Jake Wood is being a little bit hard headed because for the past few years everybody's been saying the same critique. Pros and former pros and fans, everybody kind of been saying the same stuff about the lighting, about the time, the LED, the fucking camera angle, the fucking zooming in on his calves while he's doing the back to the bicep. You don't have to zoom in. Just leave the fucking wide shot. So I think they just have to listen. Like, who else would you listen to besides former bodybuilders, and current bodybuilders? That's all that fucking matters.
Well, one of the names that I had mentioned here, was Sean Ray. And, Sean has a lot of controversial stuff around his name. But let's face it, man, Sean's been around for what, 40-ish years in the sport? Yeah. Like him or don't like him, Sean knows what the hell he's talking about when it comes to that. And if Sean says it, if Sean can say it and Ronnie can say it and Jay can say it, you should listen. Those are the people that have been on that stage, not the ones running the production. They know what needs to be done or not done, because those were guys that competed whenever, like, Wayne ran the show. Like, they've been through multiple eras of the sport, so they know what is going to produce the best results. Versus Jake, I don't know jack shit about Jake. I just know he's a rich guy who owns the Olympia. That's all I know about him. But, like, I've never heard of Jake. I didn't even know who Jake Wood was until he bought the Olympia. Never heard of the guy. I'm not saying he's a bad promoter. I think he's a good promoter. I think he just needs to rearrange the production a little bit.
I think
it can be really simple, man. And all he needs is really, I mean, if I was Jake, I can't imagine Dan Solomon agreed with those timings either. Maybe he did. And if he did, sorry, Dan, but you need to step aside, let someone like Sean have control of it, and you're not going to hear me say that very often about Sean, but I do think Sean does have the better intention for the athletes and for the sport in his heart.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird how it's always, with all due respect, but it's always people who never competed that tend to make all these rules, and it's like, I don't know Dan Solomon's past, but I don't believe he's ever competed, especially not at that level, and neither did Jake. So the best thing you can do if you have no experience doing that yourself is listen to the athletes. It's pretty simple. Just listen.
I mean, the guy so Jake has the money, right? I'd be willing to bet if you tossed a little bit of money to, say, Dorian, Ronnie, Flex, Sean, Chris, all those guys from the 90s when the production was a true production, like the lights were good, the stage were good, like the backdrops were good. I think if he would say, give them a couple $1,000, say, hey, guys, let's have a roundtable meeting. Let's put this together. Let's have an absolute slam dunk of an event. Let's make the athletes happy. Let's make the fans happy. And let's make money. I think all could be done.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. But let's move on from the Olympia before Justin gets a phone call from Dan.
I have a question real quick. Do you think Hottie walking off is going to fuck him next year?
Potentially, yeah. Like,
I think so.
Here's my thoughts, though, with that. I personally, the rate that Derek is improving, if he can replicate this again, and I think he can, because keep in mind, he's a rookie for the Open. The guy, the best of my knowledge, when he was competing in the 212, which would have been 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, like 5 years in the 212, the guy didn't have to push food, training, or supplements at all because he was at the top of the class. Now it's a free game. He can grow. He can train. He can eat. He can take what he wants to take. I think he'll continue to come up another 5 to 10 pounds every year, and another 10 pounds on Derek is going to make Hottie's job of being Mr. Olympia very, very hard. And as long as Derek can replicate what he did here, I don't know if Hottie could actually beat him fair and square. That's just my opinion about it. And everyone's got their own thoughts on that. But that being said, I don't know if Hottie did that out of pure disrespect. I really don't know. But it's hard for me to stand with him when you have like Brandon like reaching like, hey, man, hey, what are you doing? Pictures. Everyone's telling him. Even Bob said something too, right? Yeah. I know he doesn't speak great English, but when people reach out to you and like try to stop you, they're not trying to shake your hand, buddy. They're trying to keep you on the stage.
I was watching. I can't remember the podcast. I'm not just saying that because I don't want to mention the podcast. I don't remember, but somebody said there's a video somebody took from the audience that he took off his medal and gave it to Bob before he walked off the stage. So he definitely knew. So that
spices things up. So that means he 100% knew what was going on. And if that's the case, then I think he might not place top 3 again, possibly.
He's done. If he handed his trophy to Bob, he's fucking done, man.
His medal, I believe it. Yeah, if he did that, if I could find that video, I might post it on my story to see if somebody has that video.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Because I was defending the guy because I was just thinking, like, he seems very, very passionate about bodybuilding. And to my understanding, I have had an Iranian client. I worked with this guy for like 4 years. He works out with Hottie sometimes, and he loves Hottie. And to my understanding, Hottie is one of the, when I say hardest worker, I'm not talking about bodybuilding. The dude had like a factory job. Like he is a hard working person, not just in the gym, but outside the gym. So you can imagine, coming from a third world country, a country that no one ever expected Mr. Olympia to come from Iran. So the fact that he was able to do this, I can imagine he was incredibly emotional losing that title the first year trying to defend it. When they said he stomped off the stage, he didn't like just storm off the stage. The dude takes his trophy and he like waved to the crowd and he left. But that's what the camera shows. I didn't see where he handed the medal to Bob. Now, if he handed the medal off to Bob,
it's over. It's not happening.
Go back to your factory job, buddy. You're done. Fucking done.
Here's my thing.
I mean, you may as well spit in your hand and slap Steve or Jim across the face with it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think everybody can relate to like how it feels to lose, and it's not a good feeling. But here's the thing: you have to compose yourself. Get backstage, then yeah, you could throw your trophy in the air. You could punch Derek in the stomach, whatever you want to do. But for those 30 seconds, you don't do it. Like when Joe won, I wanted to punch Joe in the stomach, but I didn't do it. I just went off stage.
Well, here's a video if you guys can find this. I don't know where to look for it, but they interviewed Jay Cutler one year, and this has been recently within the last couple of years. And Jay talked about this when he lost in 2008. He said, I chased Ronnie for like 5 or 6 years. And he said, I kept getting second place. Ronnie held the title for 8 years. And Jay thought, I'm going to hold it for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years too. and he lost it after 2 years, you can look at his face. You can YouTube these videos. You look at his face, you can tell the guy's hurt. Like he is hurting internally, but he stood up there, he smiled, he literally congratulated Dexter, he hugged Dexter, and he stayed on stage and he like held his hand up. And whether you agree or disagree with the decision that you're given, like I didn't agree with every decision that I ever, even as an amateur, I didn't agree with all my decisions that was given to me, but I still respected my fellow athlete in the process of it.
Yeah. That's just the way it has to be, because if we start behaving like that, then at what point is it too far? At some point, you just can't hold it. You can't come back from it. There has to be some level of respect between athletes, because if there's not, like I said, things are going to get way out of control.
Yeah, and I look at it this way. Let's just theoretically say that he was really that pissed off. I mean, if you're that angry, Derek didn't do it. And I'm not promoting anybody to go and do this. But if you're really that angry, the man sitting on that judge panel is the one made the decision. He's the one you take it out on, not your fellow athlete. Like I've
actually seen that happen.
And winning the show and having the guy beside me punch me in the face, and I didn't even see it coming. Exactly. The judge is the one made the call, not me, not the guy beside of you.
Have you seen those videos overseas where guys like slap the judges and shit, punch them in the face and crazy, bro?
But man, did you watch the competition though? Did you see? No. Like I had to dig hard to find that. Mm-hmm. It was literally like, imagine trying to compare the novice, like a third place novice regional show, to a pro show. That was the discrepancy difference of what they did. So the guy that got screwed on that and he slapped the judge, I hope he done permanent damage to that judge's face, because he deserved it, man. That was like, if it's like one of those situations, like let's say Keon and Sean, right?
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about the 212s. Like that's apples and oranges. No one can sit here and say that Sean blew his doors off, or the same for Keon. But, it'd be like trying to compare last place in the 212 to Derek in the Open. And you're going to give the last place 212 guy the award over Derek? That's just like, what the fuck are you looking at? Like, it's not even close. And that's what happened at that show. So I had to dig hard because I wanted to figure out, like, is he just a hothead, like just pissed off and sore loser, or did he actually get robbed that bad? But that guy got robbed.
That's bad. That's real bad.
Yeah, in order for somebody to forfeit there, because he's never competed.
No,
there's no way to forfeit everything over something like that. Yeah, he had to have been screwed pretty hard.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, let's answer. We actually got some good questions today because I posted it on time actually. So let's go. Let's go into by Ijamalos. I don't know. Somebody asking this question. Can you talk can you talk training splits and training styles? Push pull legs versus bro split. High intensity versus high volume. Let's start with
Is that directed to me or all of us?
To everybody. Let's start with who we start with? Zayd is up top, so let's start with Zayd. And he looked like he's sleepwalking.
No, I'm with you. It's just I don't know why the question's always either or. You need everything. To be honest, you need intensity, you need low volume, you need high volume, you need all of it. So now, not every body part requires the same. Trying to, like for instance, arms work better with high volume. I feel like bigger body parts like legs and back, lower volume, more weight, and more heavy sets. Yeah, but definitely high volume. I'm a high volume trainer for sure.
But how about the push pull legs versus bro split?
I'm not a big fan of push pull legs, but I know it works best with beginners and some dudes who are just trying to get serious about the gym. I like to give each muscle the attention it needs. Also, push pull legs is such a long workout. You know, if you're doing shoulders, chest, and triceps, that's like 9 movements. You know, so I prefer personally the bro split. You know, spread it out a little bit. You know,
Zay doesn't need to push pull legs. He could just do push pull. You don't got to train legs. Like push pull, rest, repeat.
Right now, I train legs every 12 days.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just to keep them in.
Yeah, gonna grow like crazy. He's following Mike Mentzer's approach.
But to be honest, I think that's such a good problem to have. Like Neckzilla could just train shoulders and back. You know, like have like a shoulder day, back day, and then hit like arms with chest, and then just don't even train legs, and you get all this recovery. Like,
yeah,
you can do a lot
in there too. You can use it to your advantage.
Exactly, because when your weakest body part is the lower body, then I'm training legs twice a week, and it's like that shit takes a fucking toll. But not just on my legs. I'm just like I'm tired and sore, right? So I think it's a huge advantage to have a weaker upper body and huge legs because you can just fucking train arms and shoulders all day, and you'll be good to go. Let's go to Joe, since he got his son with him.
Levi, you want to answer the question, buddy?
Yeah,
Levi does nothing but legs.
What's Levi's training split?
Legs only.
What's your training principle as far as hit, high volume, push pull leg?
I think Zayd answered it best for everybody. I mean, there's a time and place for everything. I think. A lot of times, like, well, me and Paul are training partners, so we'll dictate our training on how we feel. So, like, say, sometimes you do a heavy ass set all out that you planned on doing for multiple sets, then you hit that, and you're like, that ain't gonna happen again, and then you just move on. Compared to like where, say, you do a set of 15, and you didn't take it to complete failure, that'll turn into multiple sets or whatever. By third set, you're gonna hit complete failure. But I think depending on how high the intensity of the load is going to dictate how much volume you're going to do that day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all over the place. There's a time and place for everything. And I think in off season, I'll definitely try to push as heavy as I can for at least 1 to 2 working sets minimum. And then if I can get a third set in there, that means I didn't go to complete failure probably on that first working set.
Yeah.
So I try to get most of my strength done in the off season, and then most of my volume in the prep kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw you pressing, doing shoulder press with 4 plates. I didn't know you got down like that, Joe. You got down with the 4 plates like that?
Yeah, I got down like that.
Damn. Okay.
I don't. Me and Paul talked about it a lot. We suck behind the camera, so a lot of times I'm in the zone. I don't record a lot of my heavy ass movements. Like I've done that before in the past. Like it's not new. I'm hitting new rep ranges with it. You know, I've never done it that many times, and I didn't have elbow sleeves on. But it's something I've done before. I've always trained really heavy.
Yeah,
and that's why I have the strength that I do.
I think me and Zay talked about this. We usually record our back offsets and not the top set. First of all, if I'm hitting a PR, I get nervous because I'm like, okay, I'm about to hit the 170 dumbbells. What if I tear my fucking chest? I don't want to get that shit on camera. So let me.
Yeah, bro, the setup beforehand, like I literally we did a leg press the other day. I had no knee wraps on. My knees were killing me the set prior, and I went a little heavier the next set. And I didn't have Paul to record. I literally laid down. I closed my eyes. I took a huge deep breath. I prayed to God like 3 times. I was like, all right, here we go. Yeah. It took like 3 minutes before I started.
I get anxious. Like no matter how long I do this, if I'm gonna squat anything like 6 plates and up, I get super anxious. So everybody in the gym starts to look at you. I don't really want everybody to be looking because I kind of want to be in my zone. Last thing I want to do is take out my phone. So when I know I can do it because I've done it so many times, but I still get that feeling that I just want everybody to go away, so I go focus on it. Because make no mistake, if I lose control of that motherfucker, no matter how strong your legs are, you can fuck yourself up. So I always want to lock in, and I usually record the back off a set. And when I go to 5, then I'll take off my belt, take off my wraps, then I'm comfortable, then I'm good to go. But until that point, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm anxious. Once I hit that top set, now I'm talking to people and I'm relaxed because I just have to get that like off my chest. I just get weird like that. I get super weird like that.
If I do a recorded top set like that and it's raw and everything, like that's like a true top set, I'm taking it to that place. Yeah. I'll have somebody record while Paul spots me. I don't trust anybody to spot me on any heavy movement unless it's Paul. So unless somebody's in the area, I'm not gonna ask anybody. Like because I won't do it by myself. Fuck that.
See, I don't get a spot on squat anymore because
one time in New York, I failed and then I went to dump it and it kind of hit the guy behind me. So I was like, fuck, because you know Paul could actually spot you though, but if you have somebody that is risky, like you know if he wasn't with you, then if you ask a random person. And then, God forbid, you have to dump this shit on this poor person at the gym. Then you might fuck him up, you know. So usually when I squat,
or 180-pound guy.
Yeah,
a squat rack where you can adjust the pins, like adjust the safeties. Yeah. I always, when I would go really heavy on squats, I tried to be in one of those racks. Yeah. But I would. During my warm-up sets, I'm adjusting the pins each time. That way, like if I sit in the hole, I'll have it so that I'm like maybe 2 or 3. The pins are 2 to 3 inches from the bar. That way, if I do get stuck, I'm just like literally sit back with it and it catches.
I did. I saw that.
If I don't trust you, I ain't letting you spot me on squats.
100%. I saw that in every prep when I'm prepping and I'm like 4 weeks out. I watch your old videos on YouTube. You remember the Arnold prep series when you did like the kind of vlog workout kind of thing? So there was one where you're doing like a safety bar squat and you literally go to failure and you couldn't stand back up and you just you let it fall on the So I'm like, I've never seen people actually go to failure to the point that they had to like rack it like that.
I have crawled out of many squat racks. I've crawled out of the hack squat and I've crawled out of the leg press so many times. I'll just have my safety set up. It's like when I'm failure, it's like, all right, man, I'm gonna have to just let it down and figure out how the fuck I'm gonna get out.
Because technically,
I've gotten mad at a bunch of people at the gym. Okay, you know, remember our Fit Nation was upstairs and they had the squat racks, and you have these, you know, these younger kids, you know, squatting 220, you know, 225, 315 or whatever, but they want to do it on the outside of the rack. So they drop the weight, they go, "Let us fucking bang." I walk upstairs, I'm like, dude, what's the point of using the rack if you ain't doing it on the inside? You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why it's there. Use it. You know?
Yeah.
If you can't control the weight, don't do it.
Facts. To be honest, another reason why I don't use spiders anymore is because I don't even want to go heavy enough to the point that I feel like I need a spider. Because, like I said, if I can't build my legs with 5 plates, I ain't gonna build it with 6 plates because that's telling me I'm not using the proper muscle to lift it, right? Like let's really think about it. How heavy weight does your quad need to grow? If I'm, you know what I'm saying? So do I go 7 plates? That doesn't make sense. So it can't be more weight at that point. At that point, what I do now is I might put a plate under my foot, and I actually don't free weight squat every week, not even every 2 weeks. Now it's like once a month. I'm doing hack squats and pendulum squats just because I'm like I already maxed out the progression, and my legs aren't where I want them to be. So I'm going to try to max out the progression on the pendulum and the hack. Now, granted, the way I put my foot on the hacks, if I max that bitch out, my quads are going to grow. There's no question about it. If I'm doing sets of 10 plates for sets of 10 to 15 reps with the form I'm doing, my quads will be bigger. That's 100%. It's just going to happen. There's no way around it.
Pendulum squat works really well, too. If you got your feet in the right spot.
That's just good.
I would just tell people it's like a thing you have to visualize when you're like in the hole on squats. You don't want to think a power lifter's job is to think, split the floor, drive the weight up. Bodybuilder, think about doing a leg extension when you're in the hole to activate your quads. Don't think about pushing the weight up. Think about kicking your knees forward. That'll really that literally picks up the mind and muscle. You'll use less weight, but you'll feel it.
You know what I did? I'll put the belt, you know, like the training belt, I'll put it on my stomach, like almost under my chest, and it forces me upright. So I can't shoot my butt out as far back. It forces me to, so it makes it feel like a safety bar squat.
I wonder why you did that.
Yeah, so everybody like, why the fuck is belt on his fucking stomach? But if forces my training partner was like, yo, bro, move your belt down. I'm like,
You're not doing it right.
So it makes me stand up straight. So it looks funny. I'm not gonna lie, but it forces me straight down, and it's all quads. It's basically like my knees go over my toes, which it's not the best for my knees, but I'm trying to make some gains. Fuck the knees. As long as I could, I could recover. You know.
Tell me that in 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, all I need is a good 8 more years in my knees, and I'm good.
Yeah, you get double knee replacements now.
Yeah, you see, there we go. I'll give me some brand new knees when I'm done. But did Paul answer the question about the training?
Yeah.
I mean, Joe already pretty much answered it. I mean, I think there's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
Training wise, I mean, I know we like to go a little bit heavier when we're off season. Obviously, we got the weight and the the water in our muscles to protect us.
Yeah.
And then I mean, higher volume with the density. I mean, pretty much everything else.
I think all of us have done it all, right? I think we've done push pull legs, we've done bro split, we ran the gambit at this point. And it's not about what's right. I don't think anything's right. There's wrong ways to train, sure, but I don't think anything is right. I think is where are you at, right? So as a beginner, imagine you're a beginner, your first week in the gym. You can only bench press, I don't know, 10 on each side. You're bench pressing fucking 65 pounds. Your chest doesn't need 7 days to recover from that because it's just not intense enough. You don't even know how to train hard. So at that point, I could see the benefits of training more often, like push, pull legs, repeat. So twice a week, because you're just not strong enough or in tune with your muscles enough to be able to get a pump and fully stimulate your muscles to the point that you need a full week to recover. And you're probably young as well if you just started. So in the beginning, I could see a lot of benefits from push pull legs. But the goal is to train as much as you can recover from, no more, no less. If you're training in a way that, you know, your knees and ankles and glutes and quads are sore as fuck 7 days later, then you're doing too much volume, more than likely. And you have to back down from the volume. I wouldn't back down intensity. I would go intensity first before the volume. So you back off. Now, if you're training as hard as possible and then you're completely recovered the next day, either you're not fucking training as hard as you think you are, or maybe your body recovers fast enough that you can add more volume. So go up in volume, make sure the intensity is maxed out. So the easiest way to say is you're literally doing what you can recover from, no more, no less. If you train, you recover, you train, recover, you grow. That's simple. If you're training and not recovering, back off. If you're training and you're not sore or you don't feel any kind of fatigue, you can probably push the volume higher. That's it. As far as exercise selection, what do you feel? Like, don't ask me, hey, do you think close grip bench press is good to keep in my workout? You tell me. Don't ask me. What the fuck? Like, you tell me. Like, when you do it, what do you feel? I feel like shit. So stop fucking doing it. If I tell you it feels great, keep doing it, and you feel nothing, don't continue doing it. So I get it. We all ask these questions when we were younger, but it's irrelevant. Like, you can't ask me what's best for your arms because I don't really train my arms. Does that mean your arms are going to grow from not training it? No. My arms just grow because I use my arms to do everything, maybe. Or that's just genetically. My dad had huge arms and skinny legs. It is what it is. He didn't even work out. So you're just training based off your genetic potential, body part wise, and your genetics to recover. That's it. No more, no less. I think that's the simplest way to put it. I don't think Justin answered it, but I feel like we already hit all the areas.
You guys did a very I agree with about 95% of this here. Actually, I agree with all of it. I'll just tack on a couple of other things. The guy asked about a push pull versus like a bro split, and ironically, I've had that conversation 3 times today with clients on check-ins. So this is like literally it's fresh in my mind. I think I'll agree with Zaid. I think the push-pull legs can be better for a rookie, and I'm going to agree with you here. Like when you're doing legs, if you're going all out with everything, and this is where we're going to talk about intensity here in just a second. If you're going all out with everything that you got, I really just can't see you doing legs twice a week, or at least, you get at least like a 5-day break in between versus chest, arms, and shoulders is going to recover significantly faster. So I like the bro split over the push-pull legs, but I don't know who asked the question, and this is where things can also get misinterpreted through text and whatnot. But I hate when people say high volume or high intensity. It's like, if you're doing high volume, does that mean you shouldn't do high intensity? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
But the thing is, when people say high intensity, sometimes I misunderstand them, and they're thinking like, high intensity meaning like Dorian style. Yes, but here's the thing with me. I think that, and I've had this philosophy from day one I ever set foot in a real gym. Like, I even had this philosophy when I trained in my parents' basement, like with just remember those old weights that was like, feel like they were full of sand or plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I know
That's what I started with. So I've always had the mentality that intensity is what matters the most. And I want to define intensity. You guys just talked about, taking your sets to failure. I said I'll crawl out of the machine sometimes. So oftentimes I like using Smith machines and hammer strength, stuff like that. That way I can take things safely to 100% failure. Now, intensity comes with that. Like, I had to tell this kid earlier today. He said, so if I can get 10 reps that to failure, what I do is like, you fucking keep going until you fail. That's what you do. Then you go up next week, like say you're set, you're going to do 315 and I have wrote down for you to do 8 to 10. Well, if you get 10 and you're not failed, you didn't do it right. Keep going. Do 14, 15, 16, 18, 20. And then next week, go up and wait. So I like to take my sets, like once I get through my warm-ups, to 100% muscular failure. That's where I like things to be. Unless there's outliers to that. Like I remember Neil Heel used to talk about muscle rounds a long time ago. I don't know if you guys remember that or not.
No,
you know what that was?
I'm not familiar.
So like this actually works good on legs. Something you guys can give a shot if you want. And I love them. So let's say you do 12 plates on a leg press, 12 plates per side for, say, 8 reps. You're not going to do that. You're going to go to 7 or 8 plates a side. You're going to do 8 reps, racket, count to 10. Do 8 more reps, count to 10. You're going to go through 4 of those. So essentially you're taking that short break. But again, that's a little bit of a different style of training. It's fucking high intensity because at the end of that, you're going to be coming out of that leg press huffing and puffing for air. And your legs are going to hate you the next day for it too. Maybe they're going to love you, hate you, whatever, but you get the point. So I think intensity has to come first. Like if you're not training with intention and purpose into failure, what are you there for? That's number one. And then when it comes to the volume and the frequency, that goes back to what you were saying, as much as you can handle. So like some people can, like I was always able to handle super high volume. But keep in mind, to anyone listening, I had sponsorships and endorsements, so I didn't have to work. I didn't have a job that beat me down. So like if you have a job, you got to stand on your feet, or better if you're a personal trainer, because that's what a lot of bodybuilders do, you're taking weights on for people, off for people, you're up on your feet all day. You're not going to recover as good as my fat ass did on the couch. Just facts. I can nap when I want to nap. I can eat when I need to eat. Not everybody has that luxury. So you have to adjust your training volume and your frequency to what is going to fit your lifestyle the best. And again, it's not a one size fit all when it comes to that. I think intensity, that is a one size fit all. If you don't have intensity, go home. I don't want to work with you. But when it comes to the volume, I was pretty normal. Like it was pretty typical for me to do 20 to 30 working sets per muscle. And I was able to recover from that. Sometimes I could do it twice a week as well. So that was kind of like my take on things. Is like I would take, and those are 20 to 30 working sets to failure as well.
I was gonna mention that because a lot of people say 30, including even Jay. Jay will say 30 sets, but they weren't all to failure. Like from watching Jay's training, they weren't all to failure, right? But I mean, they were pretty intense. There was maybe like 1 or 2 reps from failure, so he wasn't like moving light weights or stopping super short, but like a couple reps. But I've watched your training, and your sets are literally like to the point when you fail, you even get some partials in there.
Yeah, I'll throw extras to it. Yeah.
So I would go as far as to say it did. and I would say you train beyond failure, if anything, right? But still high volume. Now, you were somebody I followed closely, growing up. But when everybody can't do that, because when I tried that,
Exactly. That was my
I
next
couldn't
point.
fucking recover. Yeah. But I think it's a point to you could be inspired by somebody, but emulating or imitating somebody else isn't going to make me look like Justin Compton. It just isn't.
Correct. And I'm going to bring up obviously a household name here with Dorian Yates because he's the one that kind of popularized the low intensity, high volume, or sorry, high intensity, low volume training. And it worked for Dorian. I actually tried it for a short period of time. My body responded throughout my whole life, and it still does. If I were to push the gas again, it would pick right back up where it left off. If I can't see the results within, say, 3 months, it ain't working for me. Like, it ain't something I need 3 to 5 years. I mean, if you're a bodybuilder, you don't have 3 to 5 years to waste. I don't care what age you start at. You don't got that kind of time to waste. And for me, I could see the results pretty quickly. And I tried doing one working set per exercise. And I was getting stronger, yes, but I wasn't developing the muscle tissue that I was with the higher volume. But I can't sit here and knock it because you have, like, Dorian was a big fan of the low intensity. I had this conversation earlier. I don't know if Dorian ever did I keep saying low intensity, low volume. Dorian was a fan of the low volume, high intensity training, and we'll never know the answer to this question because Dorian's obviously older now and he's retired. I wonder how he would have looked on high volume, high intensity. Maybe better, maybe not better. Maybe he could recover, maybe he couldn't recover. But again, this is back to what I was saying. Intensity has to come first, and then you add your volume to what your body can handle after that.
Yeah.
I've never seen a top tier athlete. As a matter of fact, I've never seen a top tier athlete in any sport, bodybuilding or outside of bodybuilding, that did not train intense as hell. As far as look at the best football players in the world. They don't diet like we do, but I guarantee you, when they're out on the field, they leave nothing on that field. They leave it all on the field. They leave nothing to guess. Like, they put it all on the line. And I feel like as a bodybuilder in the gym, you have to do the same thing.
I agree. You can't leave anything for chance.
Amen.
All right. Next question. What's the most amount of meat, pause, you've consistently ate in your meals? Let's say, like,
I'm not going
off
first.
season.
How many ounces of meat?
It just says how much meat, but let's say ounces. How much, how many ounces it was the highest you've ever been as far as protein source, whether prep or off season?
8 ounces.
Yeah. That was the highest you've ever done?
I mean, for the assigned meals, yes, but sometimes when I'm hungry, and it's not competition, I do 10 or 12 per meal. But that's like for the meal plan I get, the highest it's been is 8 ounces.
What was the highest total amount of protein you've had consistently ever?
8 grams per day?
Yeah.
I would say about 440, 420, somewhere there.
You don't seem like the kind of guy who even counts the total amount.
I do.
Just follows.
I'm very neurotic. I document every single meal I eat, every single workout I do, every single shot I take, every single supplement I take, and that's been for the last 10. That's been for the last 10 years. I can probably pull up on Tuesday 10 years ago in the afternoon what I ate.
Damn.
I have.
That Minos logbook.
Yeah.
No, I do it on my phone. On my phone.
Oh,
send me the shots you took last year for the USA's.
Oh, sure, dude. I got all that. It won't work for you though.
No, it's not work for me. I just want to keep it in my notebook, in my arsenal.
Plus, it's low dose for you, bro.
Yeah, probably gonna be low dose for me. All right, let's go, Joe. What's the most amount of meat?
8 ounces per meal, so roughly around if you're going to count everything outside of the meats, I'll eat between 330, 340 grams of protein.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty standard. You competed around like 230s, so that's like
Yeah.
a gram and a half will put you at like what 325. Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. How about Big Paul?
10 ounces.
Oh, you go a little higher.
You're getting 5 meals though.
Yeah, but I'm
Remember?
only getting 5 meals. I had to go
Oh,
up.
oh. So yeah, it kind of ends up around the same. Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
mine's
sense.
six. Mine's 6 meals.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, you take away that meal, it's gonna end up the same thing
yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
same, yeah,
same thing.
same.
Uh, how about Bompton?
So, you know, I like to fucking eat, man, but like I think it was the Chicago Pro. I was not coaching myself at the time, and I think this was way overboard. So I'm going to be transparent with people on this. I don't recommend it. I did not like it, and when I coached myself, I didn't do this, and I got better. But I think FAC had me on it was 7 solid food meals. They were all meat, like my last week of the show.
Mhm.
It was 12 ounces cooked weight.
Boom.
Now,
There we go.
Oh,
one
Now we
day I sat
talking.
down and I calculated all this shit. I think I was getting somewhere. I don't remember the exact number because it's been 10 years ago now, but it was somewhere between 650 and 700 grams a day.
Mhm.
That is way overkill. My
Now we
gut
bodybuilding.
did not like it at all.
Yeah,
Like
that's
the
Fuck
tough.
following
that.
year when I won the Orlando Pro, I backed it off to 350. And I count indirect protein too when I was doing that. I
Hmm.
backed it off to 350. And I always look at it this way: like you need higher protein, but you don't need to overdo it. Like
Yeah,
put the health stuff aside. Think about like if your body needs 350 and you're consuming 650, that's 350 grams of protein that you don't need. That's 1,400 calories that you got to burn through before you start the fat burning process. I
100%.
noticed when I did that, basically my carbs stayed the same from one prep to the other, but my cardio went from like 90 minutes to like 25. And I
Yeah,
still got peeled, and my stomach and midsection looked better. So, like, my
feel
digestion
better.
got better. When you're eating 12 ounces of cooked weight chicken or cooked weight fish, it just weighs them.
Yeah, it's
No,
a lot.
sure, like if you take me to a restaurant and you give me a nice big ass fat steak, yeah, I can eat a porterhouse. I can eat a 44-ounce porterhouse. No
Hmm.
question about it. But am I going to do that 6 times a day? No. Am I going to do that
Yeah,
weekly? No.
it's not good. It's not good. So, I've only had two coaches. I've had Compton, and before Compton, I had John Reagan. Did we discuss that when I worked with you about my last coach? Did we ever talk about
No,
John Reagan?
I know Reagan's a little high on the protein, right?
A little.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got to get this then. I haven't heard it.
So he had me. If it was beef, it would be 10 ounces. If it was chicken, it would be 12. All cooked weight. If it was chicken, it would be 12 ounces. If it was white fish, it would be 15 ounces. So during prep, it would usually be he would at some point he would cut everything out and it would be all fish. So it would be 7 meals. It would be fish for 6 meals. So 15 ounces of fish 6 times a day. And then I
Oh,
would have one shake of whey, and it would be 4 scoops, so it'd be 100 grams of whey protein. So I was probably on 7 times, maybe 650 protein. But at the time, I
whoa.
was yeah. So that's bodybuilding right there, baby. That's
That's
bodybuilding.
every bit of 650 to 700. Yeah, I'm sitting here
That's Kevin
calculating.
LeBron. Kevin LeBron
Yeah.
shit right there.
Well, he did work with Kevin at some point early on because John, when I worked with him, he was maybe 80 years old. He was pretty old. I mean, mid 70s. I don't know. He was pretty old. He passed away not too long ago, but he was a really good guy.
I didn't know that.
Huh?
I didn't know he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away. I want to say last year. I want to say last year. But a really great guy. He coached a bunch of us. I mean, for free. Like I tried to pay him, and he wouldn't even take my money. I don't know what he did for a living. I heard he was a chemist. I know he had different houses and stuff. So it's like, listen, if you're 80, like you're not doing this to make money. You're doing it just because you want to do it. So he helped a lot of us out that didn't really have any money because I couldn't afford a coach at the time, even if I wanted to. But I mean, I definitely got bigger. Now trying to get in shape, eating 700 grams of protein a day, that's a whole different story. But yeah, so that was the most I've ever eaten. It was to a point where to get the food down at the time, I was a bodyguard at a brothel. So it was a Korean spa.
Really?
Yeah. So it was a
That's
Korean
so
spa.
awesome, man.
It's a beautiful thing. So it was it was a Korean spa, and then obviously at nighttime it would turn into a brothel. I mean, it was a brothel at all times of day, but nobody knew until, if you see a 24-hour spa, let's be real, you know what the fuck is going on. So it was so bad. I would sit there and eat my meals, and I would have one of the girls massaging like my traps while I eat. And I would sit there, and they would like pep talk me. They were like, "You got it, you can eat it," Pause. That sounds crazy, but they would like pep talk me as I was eating, and that's how I would get the food down. Have the TV on, and they would cook the food sometimes, so it was great. I'm not gonna complain, but it would take me like an hour to finish the food. Honestly,
I'm sitting here thinking like Beatty's getting massages by a prostitute, and then Zane's over here getting his back shaved by a janitor. One of y'all's doing it wrong.
Man. Yeah.
I got to be honest, man. That was the best. That was the best job I've ever had. That was the best job by far. It's just that, like, you get paid good money. It was 7 days a week. If I couldn't work, I would send somebody else to work, and I could do whatever I wanted. I mean, I could leave. I could come back. There's been times I came and slept the whole night. Nobody even noticed. Just went to sleep and woke up and left. Took my money. It was all cash. So you could pay as much taxes as you choose, as you please to pay. But of course, I paid all my taxes because I'm just that kind of guy.
Because they're listening.
Yeah, I'm just that kind of stand-up guy. So I paid all my fucking taxes. But yeah, it was honestly the best job ever. But of course, like any job like that, the time is short. I worked there for about a year, and then they got shut down. It's all good. Happens, but it's only a matter of time. And listen, the kind of people that came there. There's been football coaches, NFL coaches, there's been NFL players, there's been firefighters, there's been cops, detectives,
undercover.
Yeah, they're working undercover to scope out the scene, make sure they're not doing anything too crazy, But anybody you could think of, the good thing about my job is if there's an issue, once I come out the room, they get nervous. They're not nervous because I'm a big guy. They're nervous because they don't want anybody to fucking see them, So it was interesting, but it was the best job I've had. I would take that job right now. Offer me that job, I'm going back.
Hell yeah, man! Refer a friend, bro.
Zane would like a happy ending.
Well, if you get to know the girls, it's free.
There's some of the nicest girls in the world, bro.
There you go.
No, like legit, like they got like great stories and shit. They some of them they work out and like they're just super chill, really nice people. I don't keep.
If she's rubbing your traps, then definitely chill.
What else was
man, one of them wanted to like make it official. They wanted to be like my girlfriend, like legit. And I didn't know how to put it, but I'm like,
you just put it in her.
I'm like, listen, like that's gonna be rough. Like, granted, nobody has to know what she used to do for a living, but I know. So it's like that's kind of I can't do that. I'm sorry. You're great. You're a fucking awesome girl, but
sorry, don't shit where you eat, man.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Don't get caught up in that. Probably just wanted a green card or something. All right. Next question. Why does Paul want a baby raccoon? Is that like a inside thing?
Have you seen those things?
Yeah, have you seen those things? Those are fucking crazy.
No, you've been posted. Oh yeah, okay. I think did you post that on your story?
Yeah, I posted it. Some friend of mine wanted one, and I told her, I was like, man, those things are fucking really crazy, right? Big old claws, and they're mean as fuck.
Yeah.
Not if you raised it right. Oh man, I want to see this shit. Let me see if I can find you one.
Yeah.
So I was trying to look for somebody else.
I'm like, what the fuck is that? All
I
right.
always
That's
wanted
not.
a ferret. You guys ever seen a ferret? Those
Hey,
things are cool as
but
fuck.
those raccoons do
Yeah,
look pretty cool though.
I like ferrets. I need to get some pets. Why does Justin love to tip workers at Starbucks? That's a good one by Kev Shreds. Okay, it's a good one too. Do you think HGH makes a big difference, and can it be used without insulin? You notice every time Justin is on a podcast, people ask GH questions. Is it
Yeah,
just
we had
me?
a long GH talk the last time. All of our horse
Because GH stands for get huge.
What, that's kind of funny. I don't know if it's directly related because Justin is on here, or that's just what the kids are doing nowadays. But let's start with Justin since
So yeah, you can use growth hormone without insulin. Like there's no mandatory way that you have to do that. I mean, if you think about it, when doctors prescribe GH to people like people that's had like traumas and stuff they're trying to heal from, like burn unit victims and stuff like that, or people who have HIV, they don't give them a bottle of Humalog with it. However, you take a certain amount of growth hormone for different people. I never got insulin resistant. It was really fucking strange. My body like processes carbs very, very well, but some people don't. And the glucose will start going up, will start getting higher. So that's when insulin you have to basically determine either I need to back off the GH or I'm going to have to add in insulin. Otherwise, I'm going to start damaging my body because my glucose, I'm basically in that pre-diabetic or diabetic level. So when you get to that point, that may be 6 IU for some people. It may be 10. I could take 8 to 10. Never had a problem. I'd wake up with like a 60 to 70 fasted glucose. I could literally go to Cheesecake Factory and eat till I'm stuffed and have a 140, 130, 140.
yeah.
But that's my body. Everyone's going to respond to that very differently. So do I think growth hormone has a place? Absolutely, yes. Is it going to make you better bodybuilder? Yes. Use it responsibly. Don't be reckless with it. You don't need 20 or 30 units. I fucking laugh my ass off when I see people taking 30. I've seen as high as 40 units before in people. And I just, sure, man.
Per day? Oh.
Do you?
God damn. I need their job.
40 units per day?
I personally know someone who took 2 bottles of Seristems a day. That's 36 units. And when he would use generics, he would do 4 bottles of generics a day.
Was it Big Ramy?
No. That's not a
No, I'm joking.
Get out of the way.
All right, so what's funny? Like, I think any bodybuilding related question, you could answer it by it depends. It's relative to you because there's really no right answer. It's like, I mean, you could, but should you? Like, I can't really tell you without knowing who the fuck you are or what the fuck you're doing, or how your blood work looks or whatever the case is. But it's never that easy to answer. And I feel like sometimes when younger guys answer, I don't want to sound like I'm being a dick or trying to like walk around the question. But the truth is, like, how the fuck would I know? They're like, oh, what's the most trend I could take? I'm like, I mean, shit, you could take the whole bottle if you want to. But I mean, like, why is the, but it's like, so yeah, you could smoke it if you want, but it's like, but why is that the question? Like, what's the most? Shouldn't it be like, I don't know, but no matter how you ask it, I can't really answer it for you. Like, I would say, what about you just start from the lowest? So ask me what's the lowest you should take. Well, the lowest you could start or should start maybe 150 a week. And then from there, see how that feels. And then you go from there, whether you want to go up, go down, keep it the same. But if your first time doing training, you want to ask what's the most you can take, things are just probably not going to go too well for you because you don't really have
the wrong mindset before they're even starting.
Exactly. And
but one thing I tell people when it comes to dosage, man, and this is something that everyone should take into consideration. It doesn't matter if we're talking about test, trend, growth, whatever. When you add a compound in, you want to get the most out of the minimum because you got to think bodybuilding is long term.
Yeah.
If your first cycle is 2,000 milligrams of shit, sure, you're going to grow. You're going to grow. You're probably going to grow more than the guys using 400. But where are you going to? What's next? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Like, where's
That's
the
the
cap
thing.
at? And you know those type of dosages are going to hurt you long term and short term for that matter. So it's like,
Yep.
what my point is, like, if you can still get results on 200 milligrams a week of training, and you're still, like, say you're progressing 5 to 10 pounds of stage weight through stage muscle per year, why do you need to do 1,000? Why?
Boom.
Because say you're an amateur and you have to take 100 milligrams a day of training. That's what you think you have to take. Okay, well, now you're a pro. And the first thing goes to his, I got to gain 20 more pounds of muscle. How are you going to do it? Like, were you just going to keep upping the dose? So they definitely, like, it's like with growth, since that's the topic. Start with 2. Start with 2 units. See how it works. I mean, maybe you'll gain 10 pounds of muscle on 2 units. Maybe you won't. But you won't know until you try. But I do know if you take 10 IU right out of the gate, well, we already talked about side effects. Tell them to watch the last episode of that. But outside of that, it's like, what are you going to do when your body stops responding to that? You're going to go to 15, then 20, then 30, then 40? Like, where's the end at?
I have friends and or clients, right, that they'll continue to ask different people the same question until they get the answer they're looking for.
Called an asshole.
Huh?
Called an asshole, right? Instead of asshole.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw one of my friends and former clients under the bus. I'm gonna say his name because I care about him and I want him to stop doing that shit. And I take pride in saying if I'll say it behind your back, I'll say it in front of your face. So I've already told him. But his name is Elad. I actually sent him to Compton. Have you worked with Elad? You worked with Elad before, right? Elad. He's I think he's
yeah. Okay,
you know Elad. Yeah. So he'll do that a lot. So regardless of who he's working with, if he wants to try something, he'll ask a bunch of people, and then if he gets the answer he wants, he'll do it anyways.
That's the green light. Yep.
That's the green light. And when he's locked in, he goes hard, bro. I know he has what it takes mentally to do it, but then he doesn't because he never stays on course long enough. He'll get injured or something to come up, but I like the guy and I want to see him reach his goals, but it's always like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's why I sent him to you because I'm like, man, I don't know if I can help this guy. Maybe Compton can, sometimes you need somebody more experienced or older that they look more up to rather than, So I'm like, maybe he'll take, you more to heart than me. But I don't know how that worked out.
He's had a few injuries, over the last year or so. We haven't spoken in probably around 6 months. I mean, I need to reach out to him just to see how he's doing anyways.
He's not training. The last time I saw him, he wasn't training because he had another injury. He trains when I started training him in person first, right? And I instilled training hard. He was the first and only person I had to say, you know what? I don't think your body can train as hard as I would like you to train. Let's back off the intensity. Something about his body is so fragile that he'll get hurt if he trains to failure. So at this point, I'm like, I'm sorry to say, but you just can't train this way. Back injury, calf injury, bicep and shoulder. It's just nonstop. I'm like, at this point, bro, I'm like, I don't want to even see you train like this anymore. Put down the fucking, don't bench press 315. Don't even bench press. Don't squat. Don't deadlift. Stay all away from all that shit. Just do machines, 10 to 15 reps, maybe a couple reps short of failure.
Of course, make sure you're bubble wrapped when you walk in the gym.
Yes.
I've seen it for people like that. It's a small fraction of society, but man, they pick up a 20-pound dumbbell and something fucking tears.
I almost regret that I showed him how to train hard. I'm like, I should have never even showed him how to train hard. I should have just let him just train however he was training because that was a bad idea. I mean, he put on a lot of muscle, but at what cost? Shit, he just body can't handle it, and he's very strong, which is I tell people sometimes being that strong sometimes is a detriment, right? Because your body just knows you're going to failure. If it's light or heavy, it's irrelevant, right? So if you're super strong, that might be a bad thing because for you to train a failure, it might have to be way too much weight. So, but shout out to Elad. If you're watching this, stop doing this shit.
Stop training.
Stop training. Just do some push-ups.
Everybody's a little different when it comes to that. I had this conversation with a client I checked in earlier today. Talking about Johnny Jackson. You know, Johnny had some of the worst form of anyone I've ever seen. It was god awful, and it was ridiculous weights. Dude never got hurt.
Yeah,
I've never heard of Johnny having an injury ever.
No.
Like, I feel like if I train like that, I'm going to be in a wheelchair next week. Like, legitimately, I'm going to be crippled. Like, I'm going to need a chiropractor and a surgeon both.
That shit's crazy. That whole training style is wild. Wild as shit.
Branch paid the price. You know, they were training partners. Branch got hurt. Johnny never did.
Yeah.
Some people can handle that kind of shit. Some people can't.
You know, Johnny beat Branch at the I think it was the Nationals when he turned pro.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. But Branch told him he would never beat him again. I don't think he did.
Branch's motivation to come in to bring that grainy, nasty ass conditioning. You know, like, let this guy with better genetics beat me. I'm going to outwork him.
Straight up. And that's how he beat everybody. You know, literally.
You know what's funny about that? I mean, I don't know that that's the case. I don't know that, like, their training partners, like, that's what built their ambition. But back when I turned pro, when I was getting ready for my pro card, the previous show that I had lost was Junior Nationals. No, I lost Nationals, but that's a different story. Junior Nationals, I thought I was going to go in there and win it. I got second place behind Kevin Jordan. And I remember Kevin had better conditioning, and he was bigger than me at the time. I remember this guy. I'm going to say he's my best friend to this day. I've known him forever. And we would train in the same gym sometimes. And we would go, like, he would catch me, like, in between sets. I'm like, okay, I'm breathing. He goes, hey, man, I bet Kevin ain't resting right now. And it would fucking motivate the shit. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's go now. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think that's probably how, like, Johnny and Branch was. And maybe that was Branch's thing, was like, he may have better shape than me, but I'm still going to beat his ass on everything else.
Yeah, and he literally did that his whole career. It
worked.
It did.
Let's go to
Let's go to Paul. Do you think GH makes a big difference, and can you use it without insulin? Well, of course, you can use it without insulin.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to be a competitive bodybuilder, I think it's needed to build the muscle. You know what I mean? And I mean, you can definitely use it without insulin.
Yeah, I don't.
I use it without it for a lot of years.
Yeah, I know people. I mean, including myself, off season, I don't usually even use any AIs. You know, so I don't think nobody needs to do anything. Like, you don't need to free squat, you don't need to free deadlift. It's just everything is really person to person. But let's go, Joe. Let's say, what was your personal experience with GH? Did it make a big difference for you?
I want to be honest, I don't know. Like, I mean, 100%. Like, I have, from 2020 to right now, I have put on like 100 pounds. And GH was a part of that chemistry mix. So I'll say yes. I think it's necessary. I've increased the dose from the first time I took it to this last injection this morning. So it's just like, it's been very gradual, but I did start using it, like, not right away, but I would say like by my fourth cycle ever. That's how early on I used it, and I've used it ever since. And like I said, it's gradually gone up, but so has my size, my width, my muscle mass. Like, the everybody's seen my transformations. That was part of the mix. So I'd like to say yes, but I've been on different things all at once from the beginning to now. And I've added things in as I've gone. So I can't give you a direct 100%. That's the deal breaker, you know, kind of thing.
I think that's a very honest answer, right? I remember at one point, I had done really good with a couple of bikini girls, right? And I ended up turning one pro. So I get all these bikini girls that want me to coach them. Now it's happening to me with men's physique. But back to the story. So I would train these bikini girls, right? Lose a bunch of weight, get lean. And then they would post like, I'm going to this lymphatic draining massage, right? Look at this transformation. I lost 20 pounds getting lymphatic drainage massage. I'm like, Did you mention that you've also been dieting for fucking 3 months and doing 2 hours of cardio? Don't you think that was part of the reason? Like, so how can you say, well, this massage is making my waist so small? It's like, well, you lost 20 pounds of fat, so it, So how can you really say? I'm not saying it doesn't help. I don't know. I don't think it helps much if it does. Maybe 5%, but it's like so many other things are at place, right? You got supplements, you got diet, you got cardio. So how can you pinpoint it, right? But you're gonna believe whatever you want to believe at the end of the day. So I'm like, okay.
Because it's marketing. They're the ones selling the massages.
So the way I look at it, honestly, like if someone asked me, well, if you don't know, well, why do you spend that money? Why do you take it? And I will say the same thing. If I know that this is what the best bodybuilders in the world do, and I want to be one of the best bodybuilders in the world, I'm going to do what they do. I'm going to train how they train. I'm going to eat how they eat. I'm going to take what they take. As long as it makes sense in gradual dosages and stuff for where I'm at in my career, I'm going to do it because it's been proven that that's what they did. So why the hell am I going to do it any different? Like, I'm going to follow the path.
Exactly. That's why we even wear fucking Gasp and Crazy Wear, right? Because the best bodybuilders are wearing it, so we gonna wear it too.
Did you know that Gary Stridham, he owns Crazy Wear? I didn't know that.
You think Gary Stridham?
Yeah.
I think he was the OG owner, right? Original owner. I want to say that.
Yeah, I think so. I just learned about that. I was like,
he was not
right.
He was an American, right?
Who?
Yeah, I think so.
Right now, the guy. Use my code MACHO for I don't know something percent off. Yeah. But yeah, the owner now, it's a guy from he lives in New Orleans. Super cool guy, man. Super cool. One of the coolest people I've met. I think everybody got. I just realized Zayd rocks Crazy Wear too.
Oh, you do?
I saw him in a commercial, bro. He was in slow motion and shit. I swear I didn't even know he was with Crazy Wear. I'm like, oh shit. They must have sent him a package. You got a package, Zayd?
Not yet. Still waiting on it. Yeah.
Damn, Zayd.
Yeah. I actually got that gig from my photographer. I hired somebody I worked with for my media to shoot my videos and stuff. And I guess they needed a bodybuilder to shoot for them at Gulf Venice and the beach out there. And I was just after the USAs, so it's perfect. So I did.
Why he didn't hit me up? Because I didn't win. Why he didn't tell me to do it?
I was asked, man. He didn't say bring a friend.
Some crazy shit going on, huh? That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, so I just just stepped up and took it, for whatever it was. But I do like the brand. Me and Douglas, we have a.
But those pants, pieces. I get so much comments on those pants, bro. Everybody, yo, where you get those pants? Where you get those pants? So it's definitely a thing. And I feel like since we all started wearing it, you notice so many people started wearing it. I don't know if you guys know at your gym.
Yeah, I did.
You're like, bro, since when you started wearing Crazy Wear? Everybody wearing Crazy Wear now. The girls are wearing it and shit. I'm like, okay, this is a movement.
But that's good for them. They're coming up,
Huh?
What's the brand again?
That's good for them. They're coming up.
Crazy Wear.
Crazy Wear. It's like an old school brand. They got the super colorful pants on.
My way.
Huh?
I've not seen it out my way here in Florida.
I'm gonna tell them to send you some.
I was wearing some pants when you came down to watch us train.
You what?
I was wearing when you came down. Me and Paul
those pink pants.
Those crazy looking pants. Those like big
those like parachute pants.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell the owner to send you some. The pink one. I know Justin likes the pink.
Is this
Justin didn't wear that shit.
Was it like these?
Yeah.
It's pretty
not that one in particular, but I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. You had no, that's Atomics. Where's that?
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing with brands. The reason, like, I don't think I wanna. Yeah, those.
Yeah, that's Crazy Wear.
I don't know if I would want like a contract because I like to switch it up. I like to wear crazy weird pants with gaps. Sometimes, sometimes I wear. I do like to switch it up sometimes because some brands have some shit that I like as well. I don't like gasp like pants, but I like gasp tees. I don't like their tank tops really. I like their tees though. I like how the tees fit. I like that loose fit. So
And
I
it
don't mind
depends
mixing up.
on laundry day too. How much you
Exactly.
clean?
You switch it up. All right, let's do one more question. I think it's we've been on over 2 hours. I think. Let's see. Even by Jehovah Liftness, using everyone on a podcast build the best bodybuilder. But you can't use this. You can't use the same person more than once because I could just say Justin's arms, Justin's shoulders, Justin's quads. Just Justin. I'll just be Justin. So.
Well, I mean, we have so there's 5 of us on here. But there's
You
more
got
than
to use
5.
everybody. Exactly. You got to use everybody once. So you got to pick from everybody. One body part. So chest, legs, back, shoulders, arms.
Right, so
that's what makes it tricky because you have to choose everybody.
So does like I'll do it, then Paul does it, then Joe does it, then Zay, then you?
Yeah. It's probably going to be similar answers though.
I probably would have to go with probably Zayd's legs. And when I say Zayd's legs, just because I only have 5 of us, I'm going to skill whole lower body.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I'm going to go my arms, definitely 100% Joe's chest, not questionable. Your waist.
It's getting tough now.
And let's see. If I put Paul's shoulders in there, I still got back. Like we don't have enough. There's not enough body parts here for enough people.
That's fine though. That's fine.
You got to use somebody twice here. So I probably got to go Joe's back, even though I was probably bigger per se at my biggest. His has a lot more potential than mine.
Okay.
Like because his lats insert low and they get feathery. So yeah, that would be my pick.
That's pretty good.
Break it down further, like if you're doing like hamstrings, calves, I'd probably go my calves on this.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I don't know about that, Justin.
Yeah, Zay got some crazy calves too. Yeah.
I have to go Paul on the hamstrings because his side chest, his hamstrings hang really low.
Yeah.
I could even arguably use your shoulders too, but it's kind of tough. Like if we had like 10 people on, then it'd be a little bit more of a challenge.
My shoulders are kind of suspicious though. There's a little suspect.
All right, so who do you guys have? How do you build your perfect bodybuilder here?
Man, that's a tough one because the first thing I was thinking was Zay's legs and Joe's back. I like Joe's back because I have the opposite back. I only have the width and I don't have the thickness and detail. So I like Joe's back, Yeah, but like you said, with the body parts, I guess I'm just gonna go chest. I think I'm gonna go chest, back, shoulders, arms, legs. I think so. So let's go. I didn't say waist.
Shoulder, waist.
I'm gonna just pick whatever body part I want to pick. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Zayd's. I'm gonna go Zayd's quads. I mean legs. I guess legs in general, because Zay got pretty complete legs. I'm gonna go Joe's back. I'm gonna go. I like Paul's shoulders personally. I think he's wide as hell. I'm gonna go Paul's
shoulders as well.
I'm gonna say Paul's shoulder width in general, but that shoulder the same difference. But I don't know if the actual shoulder width like is the same in the same boat because that's kind of structure. But all of that shit, the shoulder width, the shoulders in general. Then I thought Justin's arms were fucking ridiculous. So I would go Justin's. I feel like I have good arms for my body, but I don't think genetically I have good forearms or triceps genetically, like this shape. I don't like the shape. I think they can get full and round, but I don't like the shape to it. So I'll say Zay legs, Joe back, shoulders Paul, arms Justin, and then my waist when I'm on. Not when I'm off. Nobody wants my waist when I'm off. So my
chest.
There's
chest.
more.
Good point.
Yeah.
So
There's only
I'm
one
gonna
person that we all have to agree has the best chest.
Yeah, Joe's chest is big because what it is that can you? It doesn't really make sense, but can you say a wide chest? His chest is wide, right? It takes up a lot of space.
Wide and full from top to bottom, left to
Yeah.
right.
That's the thing because I see people with like, if you look at Sam Sulek, his chest pops out at you, but it doesn't cover a lot of surface area, right? Or like a Ronnie Coleman, it pops out, but then you see Arnold. Yeah. Arnold is probably the only one I could think about who has a wide chest. It's long, it's wide. Oh, Paul, that sounds crazy. It's long, it's wide, but it's also full.
Has a lot of girth to it.
Yeah, so
very round.
Think about that, right? We're talking about from the 70s, right? When was the last time you seen a chest that's full, wide, takes up a lot of space, and pops out at you? It's not common. You almost never see that. So if you have a chest like Joe's, it's automatically going to be the best chest at every show you do. Let's break it down. I mean, whose chest looks like that, really? You don't see, it's one or the other. Either it looks good from the side, it looks good from the front, but you don't see depth and then surface area very often, If I think Samson had a great chest, but I feel like it's full, but I don't know if it takes up a lot of surface area, so you got to go chest with Joe. Yeah. Yep. So how did it feel to get two body parts, Joe?
I'm over here just like, I'm like trying not to blush.
That's a lot, man. All right. So who's let's go with Zayd. I think it's all gonna be similar. Like Zayd, Zayd's gonna choose his own legs. Well, why the fuck would he not choose his legs?
Let's start with the waist. Definitely your waist. Definitely Justin's arms and Paul's shoulders. Joe's back and chest, of course, and my legs for sure. Yeah.
What about traps?
Justin.
What about forearms?
Also Justin.
Yeah, I can see that. What
Honestly,
about
a lot of body parts from Justin? Yeah, for sure.
What about hair?
Justin.
Oh damn. God, come on, man.
Get out of here, man. I'm trying to hold on, but I have a feeling by the time I'm 50, it ain't gonna be there anymore.
For the record, I gotta say, honestly, Justin, like this is the first time I talked to you, but back in the day when I was growing up and looking at your physique, you were the only one, in my opinion, that was competitive with Phil Heath. Because Phil was so much ahead of these other dudes, right? Yeah. I only saw you as a potential threat next to him. I would have loved the call out if you were right next to him with a hands collapsed most muscular. You are probably the only one who could get him at that shot.
Yeah,
back in the day. Yeah, he had a crazy quad sweep too, man. That's just
that pose for Phil was just. I think I would have probably fared better against Phil on maybe a side tricep or a lat spread, like a rear lat spread. But man, when Phil would do that most muscular with the hands class, the fullness in those arms and shoulders.
Yeah.
If you put a tape measure on my arms versus his, mine was bigger. I have no doubt about that. But Phil just had that freaky shape. And I'd say Phil's arms probably 23. They weren't small by any means.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I guess because I grew up like Phil was like my idol. So maybe I just don't see myself like that.
You had that same, you was the only one that had that same roundness, detail, and size. I think Bonac at the time was pretty close. But
there's another dude, Silvio. Yeah. Silvio had that too.
Oh, Silvio, yeah. So, bro, Silvio was nuts. He was nuts. But he fucked up at one of those shows. He got second, and he went like this. He went like this, right? And he gave the medal back and went like this, some shit like that.
What, Silvio Samuel?
Yeah, Silvio Samuel.
I don't remember him. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he goes around.
He looked nuts. Yeah.
He looked fucking insane. But yeah, to have that roundness, fullness, and amount of detail is very difficult. You see people maybe have the roundness and fullness, but not that level of detail and actual size. So that's a real difficult thing to get. You see Tonio, he has a crazy level of roundness and condition, but not the size, right? So it's like people might have 2 out of 3, but all 3 together, I would say Phil, Justin, and Bonac. I mean, maybe Nexzilla, if he goes to shoulders, maybe in back, but you don't see that very often. You know, I only got 2 bodybuilders on my screensaver. If you look at my phone, I switch between. It's only Phil and Justin are the only 2 bodybuilders on my phone, besides myself and AI. But I can't compete with y'all naturally, so I have
Were
to
you
put
an
AI
Indian or like a Native American on that?
I was something. I don't know. I have some stuff
like
on my head. Yeah, so the only way I could compete with that is in AI. So, but yeah, but same with me.
There's no AI on stage, brother.
No, there's no AI on stage. So you gotta make it happen. No, but I think me and Zaid have been following the sport probably longer than Joe and Paul, because I've been following the sport since like 2008. I think Paul and Joe started a little bit later, maybe following sports. So we remember all that shit. I remember when Justin at the Nationals.
No, you're scratching your back in the chair right now.
Huh? I was because I can't reach it.
No, I'll get up against the wall sometimes. And
get the corner. No, but yeah, we've been following the sport so long that I remember when Brandon turned pro. I remember when Justin turned pro at the Nationals. I remember that, like I said, that every prep I do, I go back into the archives. I watch Kevin Levrone, I watch Flex, I watch all them, and I watch Justin. I watch Justin's prep for the Arnold, and it's nostalgic. So it's funny because, you know, later on in life, you kind of become friends with a lot of these people that you look up to, and you want to tell them like, yo, I literally grew up watching you, but it's hard to understand that because the age gap gets closer, so it isn't really. You know, you can say it, but you don't. They'll never understand what it really felt like to just be like watching them, like, oh shit, look at this guy, you know, because you almost become like friends with them. So it's like, hey, what's up? Like you and Brad Woe, you know, you used to watch him, and I was like, hey, what's up? Now he's your friend, right? So, but yeah, I definitely used to. Huh? Oh,
I wish.
Well, but that's how I feel sometimes. I'm like, I've really looked up to a lot of these guys, and like, I consider them friends now, and they're cool people. You know, lucky for me. The ones I know are pretty fucking cool, you know. All right.
Yeah.
What was the question I just asked? The last question.
The perfect bodybuilder.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think everybody answered it.
Yeah, I didn't, but it's gonna be the same as Zaid's.
Should we do one more? I feel like we've been on for a long time. 2.5 hours.
Go for it. Make it a good one.
I'll do a good one. I'll do a non-bodybuilding related one. Let's do what's your dream 3-car garage? Are you guys car guys?
I'm not.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah. All right, so let's start with the not car guys to get it out the way. Let's get y'all out the way. Let's start with Zaid.
I like the Suburban. I like
it. Great choice, Zaid. Great choice. Real family friendly. Let's go. All right, let's go, Joe. What you like,
for
Joe?
sure the Batmobile, and then like a Lamborghini, like a big ass truck like Paul's.
You guys really are not car guys at all, huh?
No.
We talking about your dream garage. All right,
who wouldn't want to drive the Batmobile?
let's go, Paul.
I'll go up in that bitch top down.
Easy. Let's go, Paul. Your top 3 dream. Money is not an issue. Whatever you want, bro.
That's not what you said to me, man.
Huh? I think the first one has to be
we're not limited.
Like a 78
Your dream is budgeted.
Yeah, no budget on the dream, bro. My fault, Paul. What you say?
No, money's not an option. I would think maybe like a 75 K5 Chevy K5 done up, lifted with some big tires on it.
Yeah,
Ready,
that's the only way to drive it.
ready to mud bog.
Yeah, yeah, other two.
I'd have to go with
Like a sports car. What about a sports car?
probably like a 69, like 69 Camaro Pro Tour. It's that car.
Okay, okay. He went vintage on this shit.
Yeah, and then if it was a newer one, probably newer GTRs.
Okay, okay. I can see that. I can see that. All right, let's go to Mr. Compton.
All right, so let's start with the trucks. Because I gotta have a truck, a car, and an SUV. If I have a three-car garage,
come on, man.
And I'm gonna say truck. I would like to have either a 250 or a 350 lifted diesel Power Stroke because I was affording. Paul's truck is pretty fucking sharp, though. I'll give you that. I like black on black. I would want a Power Stroke sitting on 40s with a 12-inch lift, and I would have everything done out on it, everything powder coated on the frame. That would be my truck. I mean, if you guys want the details, we're going to be here another hour.
Oh, yeah.
But that. They'll get the idea. And then I'm going to throw a loop on this one. Let's see if you guys know this car. Hennessy Hennessy Venom Vipers. Remember those?
Hennessy Venom Viper?
Edition.
Those are like 2000s, right?
Yeah, they're kind of old, but they made one that was 1,000 horsepower from the factory. Oh, yeah, it's called a Hennessy Viper Venom. It's a twin turbo on a V10. It's a badass fucking car. And then if I got room in the garage, I want to throw a stretched Hayabusa in there as well. But maybe that won't fit. But SUV, it's got to be a G-Wagon. Got to be a G-Wagon.
There we go. I knew somebody would say it.
I've rode in one before, and I love those G-Wagons.
Is this it? You said Hennessy Viper?
Yeah. Type in the Venom Hennessy. Hennessy Venom Viper.
All right, got you. We gotta see what this is.
There, Hennessy Viper Venom GT.
That black one, that second one, I would take that car, or that yellow one right there in the center.
Yeah,
that'd be my go-to.
Okay, I can see that. I'll fuck with it.
Would you fit in there?
Exactly.
Is that all-wheel drive?
I was at my biggest.
Is that rear wheel or all-wheel?
No, it's rear wheel.
It's rear.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to have the right suspension tire setup on that in order to catch traction, but I think it'd be a badass car.
Yeah. For truck, because I actually drove in it before because my car guy has one. I like speed, so I'll probably go TRX. It's not a very good truck, but it's fast as fuck. And I like speed, so I'll probably go TRX truck. I gotta go G-Wagon for SUV. And in the car, I probably would have told you a Hellcat before, but I had one for a few years, and I think I would go a different direction now. I would probably go a Camaro. Like Paul, what year though is what I'm having trouble thinking about with the Camaro. I'm not sure what year I would go.
Modern or like old school muscle?
Old school muscle, probably.
Those 67 to 70 models.
Yeah.
Pretty badass.
I
like those like that from 65 to 70, the Camaro, Corvette. Actually, I didn't care for the old Corvettes. But the Camaro, the Mustangs, the Chevelles, can't beat them.
No, the Novas either. Those were pretty sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the fuck. Oh, okay. You guys can see me, right?
I can see you.
Yeah.
I was trying to share the screen and it kind of glitched. But I love the old, not the new shit, the old Broncos. I don't like the new ones, but the original Broncos.
Kind of like the K5 is one I talked about. Square body ones.
Yeah. The one that OJ was running from the cops with his brother. That's the
older styles.
Yeah, once I saw that shit on the news with OJ whipping that bitch or his brother whipping, I said I got to get that damn Bronco.
but, but if I was going vintage, I would go Bronco for sure. I'll go to old school. I would go old school Camaro, and then as far as trucks, I actually saw a dope. You guys know Big Boy? I was gonna call him a bodybuilder. He's not a bodybuilder. I don't know what to call him. Well,
Yeah.
he had a truck. I can't remember what truck it was, but it was like I think it was like a six. It was from the 60s. I'm not sure what truck it was. I could probably find it if I look deep enough on the page, but that shit was fire. It was like a vintage truck, but you had it redone and shit, you know, and it was fire. So I do like vintage shit. It's just that it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough because you might have to put some work in it. Usually expensive by now, and it's not very safe.
You said money wasn't an option.
Yeah, money's an option.
That's true. You're good. Yeah, you're right. It's not very safe either, but who drives for safety? Let's be real. Who the fuck cares about safety? You know,
Subaru.
I said a Suburban. Suburban.
Suburban.
Listen, man.
Cielago. Remember that car?
Oh, yeah. That's not bad. That's not bad.
$400,000 car now too.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's. I mean, what makes cars fun is that it's unsafe. You want the most unsafe shit possible. That's kind of what makes it fun, right? Like, if it's your time to go, you might as well go in style. Fly out that fucking windshield. Fly out that bitch swole. You know what I'm saying? Go down hard the right way. I'm flying straight out that windshield at a fucking 150 miles per hour. Yeah.
You won't fit through the windshield, bro.
Have you guys ever been? You guys ever been in prep, hungry as fuck, like hyped up on a bunch of Trend or Halo or God knows what in your system, and you're driving to the gym with the music blasting, and you just start fucking speeding, bro? I just start fucking speeding.
I do it because I'm mad.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm just driving like an asshole, bro. That shit was so much fun. I will be driving like fucking Speed Racer, bro. I will have people text me from the gym like, bro, I saw you in your Hellcat, bro. You cut me off. I'm like, yup.
I'm like the opposite. Like, my car matches my body. When I'm in prep, I'm like a slug. I don't move very fast, and I'm like grandpa on the road driving.
Oh, okay. See, yeah,
I'm the polar opposite.
Some people go opposite, bro. I was like maybe 2 weeks out, and I'm driving, and I guess I'm on my phone, or I have the phone in my hand for some reason, and I dropped it on like the floor area in the passenger seat, and then as I'm driving, I go to make a right turn, and then for some reason I reach to go grab my phone as I'm making a right turn. I don't know why the fuck I did it. It was prep brain, and then I come back up, and I just go straight into a fucking parked car on the right hand side. So I stopped, and then I back up, make a left, and I just left the fucking scene and just went and just bounced. And then I just bounced. And till this day, I still have that dent on my car, and it's still there.
And then the person walked out and saw a little note with a sad face saying, "Sorry."
So whoever's car that is, I'll apologize. It's not personal. I didn't have the energy to deal with it, and then I'm so bad that it's still there. I have clients who work at body shop. They're like, "Bro, bring it. I'll fix it for you. No problem." I can't even get myself to bring the car in, bro, because I'm gonna have to rent a car. Like, I don't want to rent a car. I want to drive my car. So it's like, I'm just gonna have that fucking dent on it, and I'm at the point in my life I don't give a fuck. I just don't care. I don't need my car to be shiny anymore. I haven't washed it in weeks. I just don't even fucking care. Who the fuck cares? So,
well,
I get mad at Joe. I walk up to Joe's car. Joe's car's dirty as fuck. I'm like, hey, dog, we're off on Wednesday, right? Yeah. Today's the day you got to wash your car, bro.
You go wash it?
I'm like, no, today's the day I sleep until like 12 and don't do shit.
I used to wash my car. I used to pay to get my car detailed twice a week. I shit you not. But when you have the satin black wrap, it gets dusty literally immediately. He'll clean it. I'll go upstairs, come back down. It's dusty. Literally right after he cleaned it. So now I have to like wipe off the dust myself. you know. So at that time, I think it was so much maintenance. I just got over it, and I had the side skirts and the front lip and all this shit. I was like, bro, this is too much. At this point, it's like a job to maintain that shit. I was like, I'm tired of it. So from now on, unless I'm fucking rich, I'm not gonna. I can't focus on that shit. I just can't. I just can't. I don't have the bodybuilding is so consuming that I don't have the energy to. I don't even wear sneakers, bro. I have fucking 100 pair of Jordans, and I wear Crocs every day. Literally, I wear Crocs every
The
day.
irony.
Yeah, and
easy.
I'll wear.
Slip 'em on and go.
Huh?
It's easy to slip them on and go. I've got Crocs.
It's so simple. And then anytime I wear a pair of Jordans, everybody like, "Oh, is that new?" I'm like, bro, these are years old. They're clean because I don't wear it. I just wear fucking Crocs, so they're gonna be clean forever, you know. But no harm done. I know. Paul loves the Crocs. He got all the colors.
I actually have tears in my. So I wear ankle socks because when I get really big, I'll get like swollen, like I'll like cut off my circulation.
Oh yeah,
so
we
I
know.
wear ankle socks, and I've ripped so many trying to put them on because I can't like. I'm like here. I try to like hook it around my toe.
Oh yeah,
I'll tear it all the time. So all mine are freaking torn. So like,
yeah,
I'm having a hard time getting my shoes on.
Listen, in prep, I won't even wear this. I don't even wear socks. I'll walk into the gym with my crusty ass toes out. I don't give a fuck. I couldn't care less. I can't be bothered in prep. I'll crash into your car and I'll flee the fucking scene right in front of your face. You could be watching me and I'll look dead at your face and drive the fuck off. And you're not gonna be able to catch me. I got too much horsepower. You're probably not gonna catch me either. So too bad.
Too much horsepower.
All right, gentlemen.
God damn,
all right, gentlemen.
Training is hard, man.
Listen, I get in a real dark headspace, man. I got to be honest. This is why I have to have a coach. You know, though I got to work with Justin because I'm so even as a client, I'm bad because when I get to that dark place, just to even get myself to communicate with a coach and send a check-in is hard. I'm hard pressed to even do that because I just want to suffer alone, just lie there and just suffer. So, but it's something I just have to do it. I just got to do it, you know. And and Justin know that anytime I get around 6 weeks out, probably 5 weeks out, I disappear, you know.
You ever tried chewing gum?
Well, gum? What that's gonna do for me?
With splendor packets and cinnamon.
That's just more work for me. If I have to choose something, that's even more work. I'll eat and just lie there, bro. I've had clients send me home, but like, yo, just go home. I'm like, no, you want to work out? Like this, just go home, bro. You don't want to be here. I'm like, okay, I'll go home. You know,
right.
It's one of those things. I
didn't think I was going to be able to train with Paul the whole way through. When he was my training partner for the prep, like, it was at the point where I had headphones on. He was right next to me, but I was like, I don't want to hear anything. Like, I'll work out with you, kind of thing. But
bro,
I needed to be in my own little head.
When I was training with my group of friends, I almost got into a fight with one of my training partners because he wasn't doing 21s right. He started from the bottom. I said, bro, start from the top. No, it was the opposite. He started from the top. I was like, start from the fucking bottom. He said, no, but it makes more sense if I do the easiest first. I said, I don't give a fuck, start. And then he got mad and we got into it. So when I'm that deep in prep, I can't even have a trainer partner, bro. It's just not fun, bro. But I got to be honest. Now that I'm in off season, I kind of miss it. I got to be honest. I kind of miss like a little bit of suffering is healthy. I miss that little bit of hunger. You got that chip on your shoulder. You're so like I get shit done. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm very productive. I'm productive. I'm precise, and I get shit done. And I don't forget random words like I do now. But it's just part of it is fun. I got to be honest with you, but you have to go through it a few times to understand it. The first few times, I was like, "Is this?" I had to ask people, "Yo, is there something wrong with me? Like, do you guys feel like this?" Like, yeah, we all feel like crap, bro. It's normal. I'm like, oh, okay, good, okay. So this is normal, but you got to go through it a few times to understand that you look better the worse you feel. Even if you don't feel like you look good, you're looking better for it. You're gonna feel small and all this bullshit, but it's irrelevant. If you're not in shape, nobody cares. You don't even.
It's crazy, bro. Like I'm around Paul. Paul Paul suffers and stuff, but he can still hold a conversation. He'll talk to you. He'll even smile.
Oh, okay.
I act like a fucking jackass. I don't talk to nobody. I don't even look at you. Like, start talking to me, I just look at the floor. Like, hey.
Yeah. I gotta switch gyms every time I'm in prep. Whatever gym I'm going to, I go to a different gym because they're gonna hate me. They're gonna hate me, bro. I've had people talk to me and I just completely ignore them because I couldn't reply. So I'll just literally put my head down, you know. And sometimes, like, if I can muscle, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. No offense, or whatever the case is. And sometimes they might understand it or they might not. So I just rather not be around people that I like, so I don't feel pressured into talking. You know.
Has anybody ever told you that's never competed, like, oh, I know you must feel pretty, or I know you must feel pretty down right now or pretty tired, and you just want to tell them you don't know shit, bro. You've never fucking done this shit. Shut the fuck up. Fuck out of my face.
Like, not that in particular, but I've had people say, yeah, I could relate. You know, my last cut, I felt like shit too. I'm like, your last cut, you got down to 20% body fat, and you're fucking comparing that shit to a prep. Like, come on, bro. You know, yeah, I get it. You know, I've been there. I'm like, really? You have? You been there? Okay, sure. You know. but all right, gentlemen. I think we've been on almost 3 hours. This might be the longest podcast.
It's 2 hours and 40.
Damn, it's quite a bit. All right, so you guys know I'm gonna go hypo if we don't log off. So
you might go crash into someone's fucking park car.
Yeah, you never know. I might crash into somebody's bed. All right, gentlemen. Compton, thanks for coming on, Justin. I appreciate you,
man. I'll talk to y'all soon.
I'm about to go watch some Compton videos from 2015 for my workout.
Thank you, guys. Bye.